F1 is back for its final 3 races of the regular season, and someone might have to make an apology about something about light blue. Hello and welcome to The House That Happens, sponsored by Schuey's Bar and Grill, the only place to be in suburban Etobicoke, voted 4 times the best dive bar in all the GTA. Number 1 in our hearts, the Phoenix rising from the ashes. Hi, my name's Andrew Milani.
Hi, my name is Cruz, and I'm all about the blue, and it's the proper blue. Way to start the show, buddy. I know where you're going. We will get to that. I just want to say we're in the city this weekend, hoping everybody's happy, because the Taylor Swift invasion continues in Toronto.
Yes, their final show is tonight.
That's right, and that's a positive thing. I just wanted to say great commerce for the city, and not a negative thing to be found when Taylor Swift is in town. Correct?
No, there doesn't seem to be.
And I heard just amazing reviews about the show. I'm just saying.
She plays for a long time, too. Like, I think her average is 3 hours and 19 minutes.
Yeah, Pearl Jam style shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I heard it's quite a production. And
oh, yeah. Like, if you see pictures, or like they have a concert film, like, on Disney that you can watch, and, like,
yeah,
it's amazing.
Maybe I'll take a look one day. I'm just saying at this point in time. I'm just all about the positivity and you coming around to the color blue. But we will get to that. Speaking of the
I've always been a blue guy. Blue's my favorite color.
I understand why. And we're in what, Leaf Nation right here, right?
Also, Hawks Nation, Humber Hawks.
Humber Hawks.
Navy blue and gold, like your blue.
Yeah, there
like
you
your
go.
Michigan.
Yes, we like that. The maize and blue, almost the same colors when you come to think about it.
Michigan
right?
Humber, it's basically the exact same colors. I think that's because I wonder. There's a guy, my old boss at Humber, the guy who hired me. He's from Windsor, so I wonder how much of the influence he had on that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I bet you there's a connection there. We just want to tell everybody, yes, we're at Schuey's, but we're probably going to take a pause because the temperature in here is not always as comfortable as we'd like it to be, correct?
Cold as balls, people.
That's right. And
Let's just be honest.
And we had a heater, and we're trying to,
locate it.
Yes, we want to establish the fact that we are becoming part of the return of Schuey's, which there's a lot of construction going on. Tell everybody, because everybody keeps on asking me once. And if Serge was here, we would tell you. However, we're going to have to relocate to the Cruz's Chaos where we have warmth.
I think that's fine for the time being.
For the time being. We're just so, Serge, if you're
We will
listening,
be back at Chewy's, though.
Oh, 100%. As soon as the weather breaks. But someone that was just trying to tell me last night how beautiful it would be living in Parry Sound in the winter. I changed the conversation immediately. I thought of sitting in here in the cold, and I'm going, what am I going to do with Parry Sound in the middle of February? I don't ski, I don't skate, I don't skidoo. What am I going to do? Get south.
Yeah, that's the way to do it, I guess.
Yes. Really quick shout out. We're going to get to that a little bit later, but I think it's really cool that Chris Berman, in his 3 minutes every Monday night, shouted out to the Grey Cup.
Which he always does.
Yes, that's so cool. Much respect from a monolith of a league to understand they have a little brother out there.
Well, it's really just one guy at ESPN. This is really the NFL. Although the NFL, they have a good relationship with the CFL. Let's not.
And they respect CFL contracts.
Of course.
So that's just the way it is. I think that's really cool.
I think both leagues understand that they need each other in a certain respect. Obviously, the NFL's the NFL. No one's going to shake them, but,
No. Especially when you see this Christmas schedule coming up, which we will talk about in about a week or so, where they pretty well are going to dominate the whole season. We won't be seeing much of Rudolph and Santa. There'll be a lot.
Or the NBA.
Or the NBA. There'll just be a lot of. I thought I'd be a little bit irritated by too much of this early Christmas stuff that's been happening because it's just flooding you everywhere.
It's a month away, though. So
that's what American Thanksgiving's this week, so I kind of
Christmas season. Yeah.
Yeah, I just this afternoon I'm going to be pulling out all the Christmas stuff, so we'll get into that Christmas spirit and all the other holidays that people like to enjoy this time of year.
I'm surprised my parents haven't. I'm surprised my parents haven't put up the lights yet. Usually they do around this time, and then first week of December is usually indoor decoration time.
Yeah, that's what I say too.
1st
of December, and away we go, and that's the way it should be, and we'll celebrate it for the time. You know what I mean?
Yep. I'd also like to shout out Yannick Sinner for winning the ATP Tour Finals over Tommy Fritz in straight sets. That's our Italian.
Yes, and not only that, he should be the front runner for the first major, which you think about it is only about 6 weeks, 7 weeks away.
Basically.
When you think about it, Christmas is a month. What's the date today?
November 23rd.
So we're close to Christmas Eve, and then 3 weeks after Christmas, about 7 weeks away from the majors. That's all good.
That's fine. It's tennis, F1, all these European, dominated sports. It's never a long layoff, is it?
No, never. That's what keeps us going. It's called content, I guess, if you want to look at it that way.
The Radhika actually asked me one time, she's like, is there a time when sports slows down? I'm like, no, dear.
No, it's every day of the year. There's one day in the summertime where
summer's the slowest.
Yeah, but there's that little lull in there when it's after like the free agencies of hockey and basketball, and then everything freezes for a minute, and then it's World Series, and then it's training camp, and there we go. And if you really want to pay attention, in June they have the OTAs and shit like that too.
That's true. I mean, the NFL. When's the NFL not in the news? Let's be real.
365 days a year. You know what I mean?
You have another shout out?
I just wanted to make a little quick point about it. We're not going to talk about this long, but it's something that's starting to irritate me a little bit. But I heard somebody talking about, because the times have changed. Of course, they've changed if you're a pro athlete, just say from 20 years ago to now. But the big question is, does social media put pressure on the players? And this came out in light of all around the Micah Parsons fiasco. Micah Parsons fiasco, throwing the coach under the buses so rudely that he did. And of course, I heard a lot of pundits putting out their reasoning for doing it. Personally, I thought it was horrible because, like everyone says, that's supposed to be an in-house thing. You know what I mean? But everyone says because he's got his podcast, so he get out the next day and tried to pull it all back.
I mean, it's unprofessional, but it's fodder for us. So I'm never going to complain about an athlete opening up his mouth when it's something juicy.
That's and the old school guy said, "Let him rock." You know what I mean? And if you want to go on there,
exactly.
But a couple of pundits tried to say, "Well, there's more pressure today because of social media," and I say, no, man, you make your own pressure. You put your own shit out there, you know what I mean? Because they were saying, like, the amount of time you have to put in to just be a football player. You know, like the training, the working on your body, knowing the schemes and all of that stuff. And then what do you devote the rest of your time to? Well, what did they do 20 years ago? Drink beer and shoot pool? I don't know. But now it says, the pressure on people because of social media. I think that's a complete cop-out because the really good athletes, you never see them online anyway. Why? Because they don't have time to be doing bullshit like that. Like, there's nothing wrong with social media.
No, but it's also... It's not just like how much you limit yourself to, because also now these guys have buddies that are like telling them shit. Like I hear that's a problem with Mitch Marner here in Toronto, where his buddies are always like, "Oh yeah, this is what they're saying about you online. This is what they're saying about you online." Like they're trying to be good friends, but really they're probably just making him feel like more shit.
Okay, so
right?
Okay, so I'm going to end it like this. We'll end this conversation like this. And I got to talking to people, and I said, okay, as a guy that's just retired, you like to reflect sometimes on how you got here, correct? No nostalgia, because I hate nostalgia. If anyone wants to know that. But just look at it this way.
I love nostalgia.
I know. So many people do when I say it. They go, Cruz, what's your problem? I say no. So I'm saying I've got to this point in my life, and I've realized three things, and I think everybody should be like this, because then you'd be your own thing. So first of all, I've never been lonely. I've never been jealous, and I've never been offended. So when I put that into context, why I'm this way, I don't really know. However, one of the reasons that I spend less time with humans, because I find too many of them that have been lonely, offended, or jealous. So what happens when, like you're saying about when people are saying, oh, people said this about you and people said that about you, just ignore it. We gotta have to. I mean,
again, easier said than done when you have buddies telling you this shit, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And with social media as well, like it's all about like making your own brand online, right?
And get the clicks.
So in a way, you have to be online. So
no,
it's a bit of a double-edged sword.
Exactly. Like I'm just saying that the negativity that comes out of it is generated by themselves. And if you're going to be gossip like a bunch of little, what do they say, hens around the sewing circle? Come on. You know what I mean? Like, what are you going to say? Like, I find the best players just blow that stuff off. Like, for example, Tom Brady was like the greatest for 20 years. How much shit about him online was there?
Oh, tons.
Okay, like you couldn't put on Peyton Manning.
You couldn't like walk 2 steps without stepping on a Brady hater. You know?
That's what I'm saying. So did it? And what was his thing? He goes, my focus is football. So I'm saying that to hockey players, basketball players, football players, all of them, baseball players. The reason that you're there is because your ability to be a pro athlete. So all that other stuff shouldn't matter. You know what I mean? So when I hear that, my take on it from now on is when I hear that the pressure from social media, I'm just going to go, you're weak.
I would just say, like, if people are talking shit, like, don't get dragged their level by arguing with them, just fucking block them.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. And in real life, it's the same thing. You know what I mean? People create their own stress and drama. And here,
exactly.
And here at the House That Happens, how did we open today? We wanted to talk about the positivity that's brought in the city. So when we're doing a show, we're going to be traveling around on social media, and AI has really changed social media.
Oh, I know.
The last 6 months.
The Coca-Cola commercial. Have you heard about that?
No.
Oh man, so the new Coca-Cola commercial. They do like their Christmas ads and whatever, right? So the new one is all AI generated, and it's got like a creepiness to it, like this unsettling kind of like what's the word? Like this uncanniness to it.
Oh, like so you feel like you get a vibe that's like, ooh, this isn't real.
And for people that have an eye trained to notice AI, like I feel like I have a pretty good eye. Like when people
I would know.
No, I know you post a lot of stuff that's AI online. I'm like, ooh.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what I always say.
Yeah, like those. I mean, those Detroit Lions ones are pretty obvious. But,
oh yeah, that's what I just steal them, right?
But yeah, well, that's fine. It's the internet. You're sharing them.
Yeah.
But some other people, they'll just post pictures like, oh yeah, look at this hot chicken. Like that's AI generated, sure. She's got 7 fingers on one hand.
There you go. Yeah, well, I've noticed that
But anyway,
too.
but people are complaining about this Coca-Cola commercial. And like, they're like, what the fuck? This is like, I don't know. I think it's kind of appropriate. That's like this heartless, soulless company throwing out a heartless, soulless ad.
Hey, that's how it works.
But the thing about it too is because it's AI, Coca-Cola actually doesn't own the commercial.
Oh, that's right.
So people can like spoof it. It's like, so people are like, oh, Pepsi can just take this and just slap their own logo over the Coca-Cola logo, which I'm not a Pepsi guy, but I would be all for that. That's hilarious.
Oh, I think it would be too. All fair in love and war, isn't it? Is that not what they say?
Absolutely.
I'm going to be interested to see that because one of the AI things that you see now that I think is hilarious when they change the press conference. Like they have
with the voice.
With the voice, like, you know what I mean? So anything that I browse, like I notice when I'm on social media, I browse past so much stuff quicker than I used to because they're just like AI, or it just doesn't sound. You just see the first sentence. Next. You know what I mean?
I think AI is good, like a valuable tool.
Oh, I do too. It's how it's being used.
Exactly.
You know?
Like, I mean, those Detroit Lions. I was showing. We had Alexandra and Mitchell over last week, and by the way, me and Alexandra are working on a nice little show idea for the YouTube channel.
Okay, good. And I did talk to the green screen guy.
Oh, we'll talk about that after the show.
Yeah.
So I was showing them those Detroit Lions AI images, and we're just laughing, especially the one of like them eating the Lions eating the cheese.
Oh yeah,
that was fucking hilarious.
The one that I got that a lot of people looked at me funny, and I just did it at a time because it was a Taylor Swift coming in, is when I had the little girl in the Michigan outfit like that, and all of my hardcore guys says, "Why did you do that?" I said, I seen that. I go, what a change of pace, because everything's so manly, everything's so killing, everything's so dominant, and then you get like this Raggedy Ann looking girl in her complete Michigan outfit. I said, I like that. Let's have a change of pace there. It doesn't always have to be aggressive, does it? You know what I mean? And it was cute.
It was funny. Yeah.
That's the way it is.
I would like to shout out Jonathan Taves, who messaged us from social media from India on his healing journey, which I think is very cool. He hasn't played in 18 months?
At least.
Something like that.
Is there any word of him playing hockey again?
It doesn't sound like it, but I mean, he's just looking for his own personal health, and I think it's mainly physical, but so I forgot the name of the treatment that he's getting, but it's like this 5,000-year-old healing treatment he's getting in India, and
more power to him.
I think it's
baby.
cool that he's just going outside the box, and if nothing else, it's a cool learning experience.
Oh, there you go, right there. And anytime you get that type of education to add to your physicality, because we don't know exactly all about his physicalities, do we?
No, we just knew, I think he just said, he was feeling lethargic or something,
yes,
so there was all sorts of speculation. We don't want to do that here.
No, we don't like alleged.
No, Jonathan Taze, well, sometimes we have to concede to that, but either way. Taze, he's always been one of my favorites since...
Oh, me too.
Since I first saw him at that 2007 World Juniors, he immediately became one of my favorite hockey players.
When he took every shot in the...
he went 3 times.
Yes,
scored all 3 times against Jeff Frazee for Team USA.
Yes, oh no, that was epic. That's when you said, this is a Star is Born.
Yeah.
That was, and to put that much pressure on the guy, and he acted.
And he performed.
No problem. Yeah.
I still don't know how he wasn't captain of that team. I guess because Letang was older, but either way.
That was a heavy-duty team when you look back on that. The
Carey
roster.
Price.
Yes,
Marchand was on that team, your buddy.
Yeah, my favorite guy. You know what I mean? Well, we'll talk
Sam
about Marchand.
Gagne, I think, was on that team.
Yes, Sam Gagne was on that too. And somebody else was young. that was just behind them that ended up being pretty good. But that's a whole story for another time. Speaking of Marchand, when we get to hockey, I'm going to have some things to say about that guy.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Also want to shout out the college football playoff rankings.
Once again, we have chaos.
Absolutely.
Chaos. You know what I mean? And I think it's going to change every week because there's big games this weekend, okay? Because like Georgia was out, they beat Tennessee, they bounced back in. Now BYU loses, and that puts the whole bracket into a complete mess because a week ago when we were here, they were one of the 4 with the bye.
Yeah.
Now where are they?
Well, with the bye, that depends on if you win your conference tournament, right? Or conference championship, which is still a couple weeks away.
Yeah, but they're like one of the 5, aren't they? Like if they get it, it would be their ranking.
Well, because they're what? Big 12, right?
Right, and that's considered like I think the ACC is considered behind that, which opens the door for Colorado, which is everybody's hoping for.
Yeah, Colorado, BYU. That's how it's lining up to be for the Big 12 championship, and of course, Colorado, Coach Prime.
Yes, and the kid Travis Hunter.
Projected to go number 1 in the NFL draft. Should be a lot of fun. But I mean, obviously the conversation is. Like just how heavy is the Big Ten and the SEC going to factor into the top
7
12?
teams?
And that's a little absurd.
With a 3-loss, first time ever, a 3-loss, they're going to still squeeze Alabama. Like, look at the way that could happen.
Like, if Miami misses and, like, a 3-loss team from the SEC gets in, that's a little ridiculous.
Okay, well, they're going to say this then, okay? There's a possibility all of a sudden you get to the SEC championship and you're Alabama and you're Georgia. One of them's got to lose, which means one of them has already got to have a 3 losses.
Oh, I know.
What are you going to say? Alabama or Georgia, you can't get in? Especially Georgia with the toughest schedule in the country. I did not realize that.
Georgia, I would give the exception to.
Alabama, no?
I don't think so.
So if Alabama
I think if Alabama makes it to the SEC championship game and loses, I don't think you can have them in.
Well, I think today is a big day because Indiana's taking a lot of slack for having one of the weakest schedules, and they play Ohio State.
Actually, the chance of Alabama being even in that game is pretty low.
They run the table. But the big game.
But there's only a couple games left.
Okay, I agree. But both games, the 2 games, and then they got to see if they make it to their conference championship. But look at the game today.
Okay, because right now they're 5th in the SEC.
Exactly.
So they got a long way to move up.
But everybody's got a game or so there, and a bunch of these guys all play each other. But look what happened today in the Big Ten. Indiana's going to play Ohio State. Okay. Last week, I don't know how Oregon escaped Wisconsin.
But they did.
But they did. So that puts them narrowly still on the top. So Oregon barely beat Ohio State. What happens if Indiana beats Ohio State today? Then we got another.
Ohio State's arguably out.
Well, will that be their 3rd loss?
That would be their 2nd.
Okay, so then they.
So they. It depends. I don't know. No one knows.
That's what I'm saying. So there's that game today. It could just change everything. Like, what if Ohio State blows Indiana out of the water? Then
Indiana could lose their seeding.
Yeah, so that goes on. But then if Indiana beats Ohio State in a close one, what do we got here? You know what I mean? So we got a lot to talk about. We'll move along because we could talk about permeations for a day.
All I'll say is if you don't have a team and you walk into college football, Indiana or Army should be your wagon this year.
Oh, definitely, especially Army. You know what I mean? Because they got no tight shot of making the playoffs.
If they beat Notre Dame today, I know they're 14-point underdogs, but it's in New York, which, New York's basically like a second home to Notre Dame.
But you know what? That's the other game that I'm saying. Like, the winner of that game is going to change the whole apple cart again. So it's going to be quite interesting. We got a couple weeks to go, but we will keep our eye on things.
Yeah, and that's why I still don't understand why Notre Dame isn't in a conference, especially with this new format. But
they're elitist.
I get that, but if you're hurting your own playoff chances.
Yeah, well, I think that what's going to happen, that may happen to change. They
might just concede and join the Big Ten.
Yeah, but then again, they were also talking about going to the ACC, which is a little bit of a scam because that means they could win it all the time and guarantee themselves a spot. So I don't know.
That would feel like a bit of a sham. Also, I want to shout out Jaguar for this horrible, horrible ad that they put out. Have you seen it?
No.
It is the most confusing ad, I think, not only that I've ever seen, but anyone has ever seen. It's just like this group of eccentric people, let's just say, in funky clothes and whatever, walking out of an elevator, and it's like, are we selling cars here or what?
Are we selling the clothes?
Yeah. and it's like, it's so bizarre, and like everyone's like, what are we doing? Like, all the comments are hilarious, and like Jaguars, of course, being super nice about it. They're like, this is just the first step
Well, they always had funky commercials.
This is next level, though.
Okay, I'll check it out.
And then, like, I think, like, sports teams are starting to troll them a bit.
Oh, yeah.
Where, like, the St. Louis Blues and the Patriots are the two I saw where they're like, this is our new logo, and it's just, like, blues and just, like, plain font.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so I think they're making fun of them.
Oh, they gotta be.
Yeah.
They gotta be.
And also, Cruz, I owe you an apology.
Do you?
So my sister, as I said, she was over last weekend.
Alexandra?
So I asked her, and her background's in graphic design.
Yes.
I asked her, Detroit Lions, is that light blue?
And she said
no.
Thank you, sis. I love you. This argument's gone on for a while. Thank you.
So I will have to concede that they are not light blue, and maybe I'm colorblind. So I don't know.
Okay, well, we'll get you tested as quick as possible, so we'll never hear it again. That's almost a moment of detente at the house that happens. Because if you've been listening, we've been having issues about this. Alexandra, I can't say thank you enough. I owe you a drink just for getting through your brother's head, because you know how much I like light blue. Okay? My teams are Michigan. What's that?
Navy.
Blue as you can get. And, of course, what is the Detroit Lions? You will concede?
Honolulu Blue.
Thank you very much, sis. You're a champ.
It's a lighter blue, but light blue, probably not.
Thank you. Okay, glad we got that over. You know, it's been like a pallor over the house that we've had. Like that cloud just blew away. Sunshine has come in. It's a beautiful thing, aren't we? It's great. And the weather's going. We're going to get sunshine today. Look,
exactly.
It's come through, so
a little cold, but that's okay.
See all the positivity flying through. All we have to have is we should have Taylor Swift in town more often.
Exactly.
That would just change the world. You know.
We'll move us over to Formula One, where some big news is that the Canadian Grand Prix in a couple of years will move to May, right after Miami. We'll save on travel cost, potentially leading to a snow race.
I know you brought that up. It's pretty interesting. I'm wondering, though, is that we're getting pushed back because we're the Canadian Grand Prix? Like, where are we on the pecking order? So as I'm thinking about that, but that's a pretty interesting time to have the race. But I mean, if all you climate change people don't worry about it, it'll be hotter than hell in May, right? Isn't that the way it's supposed to be?
Well, even though we've talked about the Earth is actually getting cooler. But. Yeah,
that's true, and we will talk about that on another day. But the bottom line is, I'm just glad that it's going to be at a time where maybe we'll have some weather issues, because weather issues always change the how people race.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Look what's going on in Vegas.
I know.
Look what's going on in Vegas. It's really weird because, you know, we're in the desert, but they're racing at night under the lights, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like the coolness about it. But the temperature difference on asphalt from day to night is like
insane.
Whoa, yeah. Like I didn't realize that. And of course, that's where we get to the minutia about the tires.
So
again.
The desert gets cold at night.
Yeah, very cold, much colder. But they say that's what it is. Like the change in the asphalt from being so hot to going so cold, and everybody's saying they got grip problems. Like how many times when I watched the qualifying, everybody was saying, I got no grip, or tires are there. But it's also different because you can just use those soft tires when you're qualifying anyway, right?
Well, everyone uses their softs in qualifying,
because it's going to be, so it doesn't really matter. But
do you hear Red Bull brought the wrong rear wing?
Yes, I did. I said, what is that? Like, Mr. Horner, what were you doing? What were you guys thinking?
What were they all doing? And then apparently they want to fly in a new one. Helmut Marko nixed that idea. So they're just kind of like sanding off the wing to make it... to shape it to be
the way it's supposed to be,
for that track, which I just think is hilarious. Red Bull are such a mess right now.
And not only that, it's like we know, like they're all talking about it. There's only 3 teams that are mathematically involved in winning the constructors' point.
Really 2.
Yeah, come on, that's what I'm saying.
Because Red Bull, like they're falling apart, and they only have one driver.
Thank you very much. So when I said that, I said that's just a polite way of saying you're in the race. You know, you're mathematically technically.
Lando Norris is still mathematically not eliminated for the drivers' championship
until today.
Yeah, basically
today. That's what it's going to say. So I go past that. What I find is more interesting. I did not know this was one of the longest tracks of all the tracks on the circuit.
Okay,
it's a little bit longer. It's got those 2 crazy turns that are in it, which I mean, so the braking is going to be quite interesting. I forgot about that last year. But the other thing I was going to say is that we were talking about this. The Grand Prix in Vegas is the contract still till what? They got 3 more years.
I think so.
I think it's going to go on forever because too much money in Vegas. I know what you're saying about people don't go down there, but they're calling it a commercial success. As soon as you got a commercial success, and it's just
that's the way they're spinning it.
I know it's a spin, but I'm just saying I can't see Vegas losing this now just because they're Vegas. It's taken them so long to get things over the years, especially in my time, because everyone says nothing will ever be in Vegas. It's a gambling den.
Well, they used to have a race in Vegas, and that went away pretty quickly.
Well, they were talking about it's because of the gambling, but now the gambling's legal. Look they got a team for everything, and they got a sphere. They're not giving up their F1 because it's a jewel. That's how I look at it. So I can't see.
Yeah, but if they keep hemorrhaging money, then they're not going to keep this on the calendar.
I think it's like when you're talking about Prime, if they put on a hockey game and they lose a little bit of money, they don't care because they still got eyeballs coming to the screen anyway. Well, that's how I think Vegas looks at F1. If they lose a little money, because they put in two permanent structures, like for the guys to go there. Like they're not like before. They always had like they set up like those Lego facilities and they take them all down.
Well,
now they got
does Vegas really need a commercial? Like it's Vegas.
No, I'm just saying it's a jewel. I'm looking at it as a jewel. So I think the race is going to be at Vegas. I'll be dead and gone. They'll be still racing under the lights.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate.
Okay, I know it's not one of your favorite settings, but it looks neat at night. Going around all those hotels and shit, like looks pretty modern. The only one that's cool, don't they race under the lights in Dubai too? Isn't one of the places in the Middle East?
Singapore is a night race?
Yeah, was it Singapore then?
I think so. And
now
there's another one in the desert. Yeah, like Saudi Arabia maybe?
Yeah.
One of those races.
Because for the same distance. Because just think about it. If you're racing at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a good day in Vegas, what's the temperature going to be inside that car?
Yeah.
You know, like just think about it. So I understand. I hear about sleep patterns. I hear about the traction on the track, the conditions from night to day, the way the guys have to brake on the corners. There's a lot of little nuances about this race that are different than others, which every race does bring that to the table. But I think this Vegas thing is going to go on for a long time.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Even though it's
that's your opinion, but
okay. The reason I'm saying that because of the glitz. Like all the problems you can see going into this Vegas race, they keep piling them up every time. Like they tell this, the temperature, the track, this, the corners, this. And you go, yeah, that's a lot more bullshit I heard about the race than any other place. But I don't see it going anywhere strictly on the strength of money.
Fair enough.
You know.
So qualifying was last night. George Russell taking pole position. Sainz second. Gasly third for Alpine. So suddenly, I don't know if they suddenly have some confidence or what, or the burden of developing their own engine has just gone away, or I don't know what, but they're finally rearing up their heads.
And Gasly looked like he's the cat that just swallowed the bird. Did you see him at the end? I did see the pictures at him at the end of qualifying. He's turning into one of my favorite guys.
I like Gasly.
And not only that, when you gave that stat, tell the world that stat about Gasly. Blew me away.
Yeah, so Gasly could be the first driver to not cost his team a single cent in repair costs over a full season.
That's just insane. And what is it? Who has it now? Has Williams had $3 million in damages? Or was it Williams, or could have been one of them?
Williams, yeah, because they had, oh my God, buddy, a sergeant there.
Yeah, he had a little difficult.
Perez has cost Red Bull a ton of money.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I want to say Lance Stroll's cost Aston Martin a bunch of money.
Yes, but that's just a great statistic. That means that you're just a solid guy going around doing your business, and now maybe going to hit a podium. Like he's on track. I think people are going to chase him down. I was rather surprised because I thought that Ferrari would have a better showing. Because
2 and 4, that's not bad.
No, yeah,
we're ahead of McLaren.
Yeah, that's
who's 6 and 8.
Yes, and they seem to have some problems with their car and some problems.
Didn't I say something about that a few weeks ago that they'd struggle down the stretch?
Well, I've heard it again, and we're going to say this: when Ferrari wins the constructors' points, we're going to go back 10 races ago, and then 8 races ago, and 7 races ago.
Oh, you can basically go back to the beginning of the season and just look at like all the points McLaren dropped.
Oh, it's maddening, you know. You know the thing about when I was watching those shows though is that it's like when you're watching hockey and the analysts and stuff. Some of these analysts on F1, they sometimes they speak another language.
Oh yeah.
But we'll see. It's going to be a great race. I'll be watching. It's on late tonight.
Yes, 1 a.m, I believe.
Yeah.
I will not be staying up. I'll be watching that tomorrow morning.
I don't know who those are going to be. But anyways, continue.
So Vegas, Qatar, Abu Dhabi, and then that's it. We will move us over to the Grey Cup, where the Toronto Argos won the 111th Grey Cup, 41-24 over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, exploding for 24 points in the fourth quarter. Nick Arbuckle, 26 of 37 passing, 252 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 11 yards on the ground. and are Grey Cup MVP. They extend their all-time Grey Cups record to 19, now 5 ahead of Edmonton, who's in second place with 14. 8th straight win in the Grey Cup final, and it's the 8th Grey Cup for Pinball Clemens, who won 3 as a player, 1 as a coach, and now 4 as an executive. Blue Bombers lose their 3rd straight Grey Cup, extend their record of the most Grey Cup losses to 19. Saskatchewan is second with 15. If the Argos win one again next year or the year after, I got one word for you, Cruz. Dynasty!
I was just going to bring that up because I was trying to, on the last show, as everyone knows, I was trying to lean into a bit of a Winnipeg Blue Bomber dynasty, but that's gone out the window now because you just can't be a dynasty going 3 times in a row to a final and losing. However, we have to say congratulations on Winnipeg for the 5-year run. That has to be commended just for being that consistent. But you got to talk about the Argos a little bit more on the dynasty tip now because it's 2 out of 3 years, and they're basically bringing the whole lineup back. And I want to congratulate Mr. Arbuckle for having the game of his life. But you got to realize Zach Collaros smacked up his hand. And
the former Argo,
and when his hand goes, and he started throwing the ball with a glove, which he's never done in his career. And what was the first pass he thrown?
It was an interception, wasn't it?
And that just because the game was very tight up until then. When you think about it, deep into the 3rd quarter, what was it? A 1 point difference? And it looked like Winnipeg was on the charge. The guy's hand went crazy. I mean, but that's just part of football. I just think the Argo defense got up and went crazy, and Arbuckle had the game of his life. I can't say congratulations enough for the Toronto Argonauts. And I want to shout out to all the Argo fans in my neighborhoods who had flags up, who've been there since back in June. I'm happy for those old school Argo fans more than anybody. And it's cool that Pinball Clemens now has got his, 1,000th ring? Whatever it is. Yeah. It's really cool. And someone put an interesting point up there. We were talking about it. Not only will the Argos have Argos will have a chip on their shoulder next year with Chad Kelly not being the starter. But remember, it's kind of weird. 2 years ago when they came in, what happened? He came in late and won the game, and now he's the man, and he didn't get it. So you got a guy that's going to want to get back to the Grey Cup with a roster that's going to return and a lot of young guys. So Argo Dynasty, let's have one.
Exactly.
Let's have one.
It's been a while since the Argos have had a dynasty. I mean, they won back-to-back in the 90s, but that's you're not a dynasty until you win 3.
Thank you very much.
But obviously, we're thrilled about that here. We'll be keeping our eye on the Argos going into next season. I guess in June they're going to be starting back up again.
Nick Sanchi, we're thinking about you, the Argo guy. You didn't get to Vancouver. It doesn't matter. We know you're a hardcore. And, of course, the tailgate
crew here at Schuey's.
Yes, shout out to those guys. They had a good time of it, had a good party, really supporting the Argos. We'll see you next June. Congratulations, Serge. I know you're really excited about that. 100%. We will take this over to Major League Baseball, where we had some award winners. Stephen Vogt from Cleveland and Pat Murphy from Milwaukee won their respective Managers of the Year. Scooble and Sale were Cy Young Award winners. Sale, one of the oldest players to win his first Cy Young, which I did not realize. Yeel and Skeens winning Rookie of the Year. And, of course, Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani taking home their respective MVPs, the most predictable award winners of the bunch. And they're both unanimous, which was coming that way. Congratulations to all the winners. Yeah. Like, I mean, that's a huge part of your resume on your way to Cooperstown if you get the opportunity, because the 2 MVPs, I'm sure by the end of their careers, are going to be looking that way. Oh, yeah. So congratulations to those. We want to spend a lot of time on there, but we just want to let everybody know at the old Hot Stove Lounge, the Toronto Blue Jays have got their poker in everybody's fire. That's what I keep hearing. I told you last week, it's getting heated again. No matter what you talk about, what player, and there's about 8, not to include Corbin Burns now. They got his poker in there. Now, let's be honest. We're going to go back to the Bible, and I'm going to be St. Thomas. Because until I put my hand in the wound, I'm not believing anything from the Blue Jays. It's just a scuttlebutt. Don't you agree? And all this talk about, like, they're in on this guy, they're in on this guy. It kind of makes me worried that maybe they're spreading themselves a little too thin as well. Well, I will go for the reliever, the starter, and the left-handed power hitter. I will go. I'm saying Adams is the number 1 guy. Adames is number 1 the guy should go. And apparently he's been spending some time more than not with Toronto officials. But like you say, let's get on to the next subject because we don't want to just irritate the shit out of ourselves, and the winter meetings are coming. Good luck, Blue Jays, with whatever you're doing, and most importantly, congratulations to all the winners.
Absolutely. We will move this over to our Europeans, or I guess just our soccer report this week.
Yes.
So the quarterfinals of the UEFA Nations League has been decided. Italy will be playing Germany in the quarterfinal stage, so a little bit of a tough draw there.
Yep.
It'll be Croatia, France, a rematch of the World Cup final a few years ago. Spain, Netherlands, and Portugal, Denmark will complete it. Quarterfinal leg 1 is on March 20th and leg 2 on March 23rd. So
wow, that's
a while away, but we'll keep an eye on that. Yeah, I think that's the next international break.
I think it is, yeah.
Croatia's
Croatia's always in there, eh?
Croatia, yeah.
Good team.
They're kind of aging out, though, it feels like. I think this might be kind of like their last hurrah.
But then a few years ago, they said that about them, too, and they had some young guys come up from the rear, so we're going to have to see. I've heard
see.
that. Yeah, good team.
Canada advances to the semifinal of the CONCACAF Nations League. They will play Mexico March 20th at SoFi Stadium. USA-Panama is the other semifinal. Then the final, March 23rd.
Good luck, Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think they could take Mexico.
I think they could too. Yeah, we've been there before. Why not? Programs are on the rise. Let's give it a shot.
I'm going to look into going into that game, although I have a feeling tickets are going to be ridiculous at SoFi.
Probably, yeah.
Plus a flight to LA. So
there you go.
Manchester City versus Tottenham, and then Milan, Juventus are the big matches this week.
Yes, sir. It's afternoon, right?
Yes, it is.
It's afternoon. They should be going on right now. I think they should be going on as we speak.
We'll see.
And I noticed on the box, all those games are on there. I went, wow, there's a lot of soccer games here.
Soccer's back, the final push before Christmas break.
Yep.
And we'll be keeping an eye on those, and we'll report back next week on how the standings all got influenced.
Can I ask you questions? Like, how long do they take a break at Christmas time? Like 10 days?
It depends on the league. So Germany takes a very long break. They're infamous for how many breaks they take during the season because they have a shorter schedule.
And not only that, their weather is a little questionable at this time of the year. So I'm
Italy, though, it's usually like 10 days.
Okay, just wondering. Well, I'll be back to that before you know it. Christmas season is on us, and it'll be over.
Absolutely. We'll move this over to the NBA, where we've had a couple interesting developments this week, most notably of which Maxey calling out a player that you called out on social media.
Thank you very much. Okay, so now was I wrong about that? And bug me today because my granddaughter's editing the other things, so it should be good. You're going to enjoy them with the other things I'm saying. I think it's interesting when they have these player-only meetings. Like, I've heard a million guys say, is there value to them or not? But the most important thing to understand about this is that Maxey and Embiid are pretty tight. But you go into a meeting and you say to the guy, you're late for everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Like, you didn't say you're late for the training, didn't say you were late to go to the show, didn't say you were late for practice. You were late for everything. Not only that, Philadelphia did pull out a win last night, but their record is just atrocious. And they always say you can make the comeback. Wait a second. What are they now? 3-10?
Oh, they're worse.
I think it's 3-10. The Raptors now have a better record.
3-12.
3-12. Okay, and their one win was last night. They came back late.
Yeah, they move up from dead last to third last.
Yeah, okay, but it was a kid off the bench because I don't think Embiid played last night. I think it was another one of those load management bullshit. The team's not together. Paul George looks a little weak, and Maxey.
Yeah, he was out last night. Didn't play a single minute.
Yeah, okay. Maxey did come back last night, though. Wasn't that his first game back? Yeah, and he
dropped to 26.
Yeah, no, he's a guy in the team, and it's always interesting when you get the young star who has every right to say that because he wants a ring too. And he's just as much a part of the team as Embiid. So you can't have a guy making that money, talking the shit that he's done, the little incidents that have come up with him. You got to tell the guy, buddy, get here. You're part of the team. You're not special. You know what I mean? That wrecks a lot of teams, and there's only 15 guys on a roster in the NBA, so it's a lot tighter. But personally, I think the whole NBA is a complete mess right now. Number one is the injury factor is just insane. Like how it's affecting people. Like, just look the other night, I was wondering, what's going on with Orlando? And then all of a sudden, Orlando goes into L.A. and beats their 6-game winning streak. And we got to say one of the most underrated players in the league, Franz Wagner, he seems to be carrying them, and they're playing without Pacheco. So what happens when he comes back? Then maybe that team is for real. You know what I mean?
Banchero, you mean?
Banchero, whatever his name is. Yeah, I never get it right. But that guy hasn't even been playing, and they went into L.A. and beat him on a 6-game winning streak, which tells you, is all this J.J. Redick stuff working for the team because they had a 6-game winning streak, or is just because they played mostly shit teams on that 6-game stretch?
Again, you can only beat the teams in front of you.
There you go. So I'm not knocking it. And LeBron's looking like $1 million along the way. But let's just look around the league right now. Boston finally stopped Cleveland's winning streak. Unfortunately, my boy, Mr. Garland, had his worst game of the season the night he's playing in Boston when they got a winning streak. But then Boston was going up for him anyway. And besides Steph Curry, it's the Boston Celtics, too, that are just... Radek, I heard about your opinion about the threes. I'm backing you up on this. Just too many showering down. Now, as I say that, Curry goes on a splash mode last night and wins the game. With a flurry of threes, and Wiggins made a couple. So, like I say, our number one beef, and I'm seeing it all the time, is just the injuries, and we're not seeing the lineups we should be. But they're raining threes, and when they're not going in, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Come on. It just makes the game so ugly. And like we pointed out, I can hear the whispers, ratings are down.
Yep. Yeah, it's no secret anymore.
And like I said, every time an announcer's on the air, he's reminding you that this is an Emirates Gold Cup game.
NBA Cup.
NBA, whatever the hell that freaking thing
Well,
is.
I told you I've given my piece about this. They need to restructure. I don't like that's like wishy-washy where they're also regular season games. I would have it where it's a 64-game regular season.
Yep.
NBA Cup, you could keep basically the same format where it's groups of 5, but I would have it where you play a home and away against every team.
That's interesting. Yeah.
And then the playoff format can basically be the same. Maybe you move the quarterfinals to a neutral site too. I don't know.
Vegas would always get that. That's just part of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can dig that because as we were talking about Vegas gets jewels.
Yeah.
And where is the NBA Cup?
In Vegas.
Yeah, there you go. So, anyways, we're only...
Although I think once Vegas gets an NBA team, I think they can maybe do something where teams bid for the Final Four or something. I think that could be pretty cool, like the All-Star game.
That's interesting.
Because like Champions League, it's kind of like that where teams bid for the final game and whatever, right?
I agree with that, but you see, there's a little contingency of players that belong to their union in the NBA, and they have those NBA boys like Vegas.
That's fair.
Everybody's going to Vegas. So
But
I don't see it moving. Once they
team,
get a team, when are they going to get a team?
Once Seattle gets a team, it doesn't seem like they're in a rush to do that.
No, because they're always talking once again, like every other league. They don't want to. They're diluting the product. That's the main thing, you know what I mean? So we'll have to wait.
But Seattle and Vegas would bring in so much more money.
Seattle got scammed. They're a traditional team. I still can't believe that they're not around. And I hope when they come back, they have the same color scheme. And I hope they're
going to be called the Supersonics again
like,
and have the same colors.
Like that just tells you sometimes the politics of cities and what goes on with progressivism, and you're not paying attention. And big oil money just came from Oklahoma, just came down like a dinosaur, one of those viper things that just comes and eats the whole thing. And then Seattle goes, where is it going? Oh, there's T-Rex going to Oklahoma with your team. It was a sad state of affairs. Really.
Yeah, it was. But what I was going to say before is, if you have teams bidding for it, that means more money. So it's like, hey guys, you're not going to Vegas, but the purse is doubled.
There you go. As we were saying, money changes everything. Yeah. That should be interesting. The only other thing I want to bring up a bit is that a couple of guys scored 50 points. So what? I think that the 50-point thing, I think we said it in the NBA preview. I said that we're going to see more 50-point games than we've seen in the history of the game. And I believe it's going to be this season because guys are just throwing them up. And if you do get hot, you get hot, right? Yeah. So to run there, like if you have an 8 3-pointer or 10 3-pointer game, which guys are getting close to, that's 30 points unto itself, 24, 25 points unto itself. A few free throws and go in the paint. But I do notice this. The teams that are slowly coming to the top, and Milwaukee's starting to turn it around,
Yes,
too.
They've won, 3 in a row.
Yeah, they've turned it around, too. You look at the Knicks. You look at Cleveland.
Knicks have won 4 in a row.
They're on their way, too. And if you look out west at the teams at the top, my Houston Rockets, another surprise when you look at their record and where they're sitting. These teams go inside more. They shoot less. If you look at their numbers, they shoot less three and they score more in the paint. And they're at the top. Now, we got the Golden State Warriors and the Boston Celtics who are kicking the shit out of my theory. But those are those are the exception to the rule. That's what I'm noticing, because all the other teams that are top of the standings, they go inside. They're not shooting 33s a night.
Yeah, like these coaches, these managers have to have some awareness, some better self-awareness, team awareness, whatever awareness, to just say, like, we cannot play like Golden State. It's like there's a line of Moneyball. It's like, if we try and play like the Yankees in here, we'll lose to the Yankees out there,
Exactly. That's I love that line. But that's what I've been noticing. And another thing is team defense is going there. Now, before, we're not going to stay here long because it's too we got a lot of the other next subjects.
There's a couple more things I want to bring up.
But okay, go ahead and bring them up, because I want to say something about our beloved Raptors.
So, before we get to the Raptors, Cleveland, Boston, New York, Orlando, only teams in the East above 500. Meanwhile, in the West, we have 10 teams above 500, plus San Antonio and Sacramento are both at 500. So the top 12 teams in the West would all be playoff teams. Not even playoff teams in the East, which is ridiculous. This is the Western Conference, and this is like, this is the West I remember. Okay. Oh, this is the East I remember,
It's such an imbalance right now. It's unbelievable. Like Dallas is 8-7. That put them firmly into a playoff spot in the East.
They are 9-7 after the win last night.
Oh, yeah, 9-7. So
they beat Denver.
So what are they at? The play-in at this point?
They're the 8th seed, so they're in a play-in spot.
They're in a play-in spot. But if they were in the East, they'd be in 6th place or something like that. I don't know.
They'd be in
crazy.
5th, yeah.
Yeah, in 5th place already. It's just, when you got a team like Philadelphia, the way that they've started, our beloved Raptors are having their issues. Detroit's still trying to dig the hole that they built over the last few years. So they're right off the start.
At least they're above some teams. They're above Indiana, which I did not think was.
Indiana is the flop of the year to me. Well, Philadelphia is, but we understand what's that. They're the flop of the year. But Indiana's coming close behind them.
And New Orleans.
Well, they're the injury bug, and Zion's out indefinitely again.
I was kind of warning. I had them, I think, at like the 10th seed, but I'm like, ugh.
I had them being a little higher, I believe, because I thought this is.
I think you had them like 5th or 6th.
Yeah, because I thought that, because I love Ingram, but he's out there playing with nobody, and I don't think that they should have let Valanciunas go.
What's the best indicator of future behavior?
Not doing what you did.
Past behavior.
Yeah, exactly.
And the Pelicans have shown us they got injury problems.
Oh, big time, too. And it's the same thing when you look at Chicago Bulls. The Chicago Bulls are treading water. If Lonzo Ball was on that team, they would step it up immediately, because they would have a better guy running the post.
Sure.
And better defense. Because it seems to me the teams that shoot the less threes and play perimeter defense are the teams that are rising to the top. You know what I mean? Minnesota, I think they're a little bit messy, and which brings me to getting the Raptors beating them the other night. Very good game, by the way.
Yeah, great game. Raptors, not a great record at 250, although, like we said before, the East is just such a mess where you really can't count them out yet, but they got to, although they've won, 2 in a row now?
Yes, they have. And you know what the thing is? Boston beat them on a Jason Tatum 3. Yeah. Buzzer beater.
That shouldn't have counted.
Of course it shouldn't have, but that's Boston. They've lost 2 games in overtime. So what we're finding here is everyone saying the Raptors are a tough out. Look at the difference with Scotty Barnes on the floor the other night. That's huge. And we got Quickly coming back. RJ Barrett is becoming a revelation. He's becoming.
I was at a party where people were talking shit about RJ. I'm like, are you guys watching the games?
That's what I'm saying. Both ends of the floor. Now, does he shoot that 3 a little quick sometimes, and then the coach yanks him over? Slow down. I like Darko, his attitude.
I like Darko too.
And because we're playing tenacious D, guys like Boucher coming off the bench, that Mitchell kid's been playing. Everybody's playing hard D. And of course, Graydon Dick, our golden boy, shooting like he can. Gotta love that guy. A golden boy. He looks like the golden boy out there, don't you think?
It's a handsome young lad.
There you go. So he's out there. So we're just moments away where we're going to have our full lineup with, knock wood, no injuries. I'm saying that the Toronto Blue Jays are going to, Toronto Raptors are going to be a lot better than people realize. Will they be able to put a run together to get close to the play-in? I don't know. What are they now? 8 games under 500 or 6? 8 games.
Only 2.5 games out of the play-in, though.
That's what I'm saying. In a terrible East, maybe we could pull something off. We'll have to wait and see. But I like the way the Raptors play. When you watch them play, they're entertaining and they don't really get blown out. They're very competitive. Look what they did. They just, I think when they beat Indiana in that one game, they just wore Indiana down because Indiana don't play defense. They weren't making the shot. The defense was crazy. And next thing you know, the Raptors rolled over them.
Yeah.
Good formula to win.
Yeah, and their next 6 games, I mean, the next game's at Cleveland, but then at Detroit, at New Orleans, at Miami, versus Miami and at Indiana. That's a pretty winnable schedule. So they got to pull up their socks.
Let's get close. And you know what? The other thing is, Ja Morant, please get back in the lineup soon because that Memphis team doesn't have all their players. And when they do, look out. I'm still saying Memphis is going to be a scary, scary team.
What do you think about the NBA? One last thing about NBA is, what do you think about them changing the All-Star format this year? So if you don't know, the NBA is kind of adopting an NHL-like format where it's 4 teams of 8 players. One of the teams is going to be the winner of the Rising Stars Challenge. I don't like that aspect of it.
No, that was weird.
Yeah, I would just have it like 4 All-Star teams, but and then it's going to be 2 semifinals. The 2 semis are going to be first to 40 points, and then a final of best to 20 or first to 25.
Well, the thing about it is like it's old school playground rules. Like if you go to
and this
New
is
York,
apparently the players had a say in it, like Steph Curry and LeBron.
Yeah, they all came out like you know those Rutger Park. In the summer, they got the place in Detroit. I think it's out somewhere near Dearborn. They do it in L.A. That's how Ice Cube got that whole 3-on-3 together from shit like that. So I think it's going to be entertaining. And guess what? There's big money on the line. They got bucks on the line.
Adopting the NHL format.
Yes, well, you know what? Money, as we say here at the House That Happens, money changes everything. You add a bag to things and people say whatever it is. It doesn't matter if you're a multi-millionaire guy. If you're out there playing against it, it's mano to mano, and there's $100,000 on the table. Woo, people tie their shoes tighter. It's just the way it is. You know, you don't want to lose $100,000, do you?
No, absolutely not.
So it should be interesting. I kind of like it, but it's really the playground because they're going to pick too. They're going to like have a draft, right?
I think so.
It's like a draft, like you're picking the playground, which is going to be interesting because, you know, the brothers in the NBA, they're going to be dissing each other. You know what I mean? Or guys will leave like a guy like Luka Doncic sitting there for a while just to piss them off or something like that. So it should be interesting.
Should be interesting. Anything else for the National Basketball Association?
No, but people pay attention to the Raptors. We're not as bad as you think they are.
Okay. We'll move this along to the NHL where it was a good week for the Toronto Maple Leafs, even though they're still without their captain, Austin Matthews, who went to Germany to get some treatment. We thought he might be getting the Kobe Christian McCaffrey treatment, but it appears that he's in line to come back this Wednesday.
Really?
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
I think it's a wrist thing. They're not saying what it was, because then it was an upper body, wasn't it? That's not all they say?
I mean, wrist is technically upper body, I guess.
That's what I'm guessing. And what I'm betting is the procedure that they did isn't as drastic as the knee, so he can get it cleaned out quicker, so when he comes back to piss in the bottle. Because you know he's going immediately. You hear you're going to Germany, you come there, hey, Austin, over in the washroom here. I got this little bottle.
Yeah.
Let's see what you're up to. That's going to be a gimme. However, what we should be really pointing out is the fact that Toronto's been playing great.
And the amulet's working for Tavares.
Oh, yeah.
Ever since he put on that amulet, he's turned into Superman.
Then don't take it off. The great thing about it is I've been really looking around the league, and this is what you got to give credit for Leafs management. Nobody's 7 or 8 deep on your bench in the NHL.
What do you mean 7 or 8? Like in terms of like what?
Depth,
forwards?
Yeah, depth forwards. Like to have.
Oh, yeah. You look at every team. It's like after like... Even after their top like 3-4 players, there's a drop off with points.
Fourth lines are terrible in the league. I'll get to that in a minute. But you got to give a lot of credit to the depth of the. I
mean, fourth lines have always been terrible in the history of the
agreed.
NHL.
But look at your beloved Maple Leafs here. Look what they've done at one time. Look the other night. Matthews, Domi, Passaretti.
Yarncroke hasn't played a single shit. It looks, and they're saying he's week to week still. So I don't think I think he's on Robida Island or whatever.
Well, yeah,
I think he's kind of been sentenced to the Shadow Realm.
There you go. But in any event, like from the start of the season, 6 regulars are not playing, and they're on a 3-game winning streak. Oh, you got to give the team huge credit. Their big four has been playing like their big four. Like once, I love to say it. I'm going to say it every show. Hey, Coach Berube, just let Nylander do whatever the hell he wants. He might get breezed by a couple of times. I mean, that's just Nylander. He's from Sweden, isn't he? But don't leave Nylander alone. I'm liking the line combinations they put together. But the number one thing that's saving you guys is, I'm going to say this now. I'm looking around the NHL, and by the time we get to the All-Star break, who's going to have a better goaltending tandem than the Toronto Maple Leafs?
I don't think many teams.
No,
man, them signing Stolars.
Steal of the year, and now Wall
leading the NHL in save percentage.
We'll get to that in a minute. I got some shit to say about this save percentage bullshit, but that's another story.
It's a hard stat.
Okay, we'll get to it in a minute.
There used to be an award for it too, not anymore.
Because I understand why. Get that award out of here anyway.
I think in terms of like the basic goaltending metrics, I think it's the one that tells you the most. It's better than goals against average.
I'll get to you in a minute. We're going to get to that.
And also, I want to mention this graph that I posted in the group. This one here.
You're killing me.
It's comparing Sheldon Keefe to Berube. So last year, the Leafs were 21st in goals against. Now they're 6th.
Yes.
Last year in expected goals against, they were 23rd. Now they're 9th.
Yes.
Last year in inner slot shots, they were 13th. And now we're 4th.
Yes.
Slot passes last year, 13th. Now we're 5th. Rush chances last year, 18th, which I thought was a little surprising. Now we're 4th.
Very. Okay, yeah.
Rebound chances last year, 16th. And now we're 6th. Then HD chances, I don't know what that means exactly, but... whatever the case, last year we were 19th, and now we're 4th.
Oh, okay, that's all nice. That's like smoke and mirrors, buddy. How about your scoring? Let's go to your scoring part of that scale now. That's nice that Ruby's got there, because let's not be Blue Jays here. Give up our offense for defense bullshit. Like, stop it.
Have we given up much, though?
Oh, let's look at your lineup. Another little factor I've looked up in the NHL, okay? If you've got, I would rather, because you're not on my Minnesota bandwagon yet. So let's just talk about this. I've noticed
Minnesota Wild?
Minnesota Wild. Look at them. They were playing good. Beat Edmonton.
I think I've gotten on their bandwagon because they've addressed the problems that I thought were gonna like Gustafsson is back in net and they still got issues, but I mean the way they're playing, I think they can definitely make it.
Like their backup goaltending is nothing to be desired. Okay, I get that. But one thing I've noticed around the league here, okay. All teams have a sketchy fourth line. I watch so much hockey. They're all their guys. You know what I mean? They go up and down the wing and they eat their sandwich and they go back to their bench. Okay, I get it. As long as they keep like a thing on there. But the bottom line is, you look around the teams, and there's like Dallas, the Jets, Minnesota, Carolina. I think I'm missing a team. All of those guys have 9 or 10 guys with 10 points. Think about that.
Okay.
So that means your lineup is a little bit more balanced. Now, you get to some of the teams like the Leafs. Florida's another team. They got 8 or 9. But some of the other teams that are near the top, you look, they got 4 or 5 guys scoring and nobody else. Now, you say your thing was Carolina, the big jump between them.
The top player and yeah.
Yeah, but then they got 9 guys that all got like 10, 11, 12, 13 points. 10 of them. So that just tells me your lineup's a little bit more balanced. And all of those teams are at the top of the league right now. And we are coming to American Thanksgiving, which is our first barometer, which means the next show we do will be giving our number 1 power rankings of the year for the NHL. But it's an interesting stat that all of those teams are looking. And like I told you, I watch so much hockey. Some of these fourth line guys, I don't even know who they are. I got to pick up my little magazine. Who is this guy? Where did he come from? Oh, he wasn't on the lineup. And they go up and down the wing for their 30 seconds. They give the top line a rest. Now, if you notice another thing about what Berube's doing is he skips the line. He doesn't roll the 4 lines like Keefe's all the time. Keep the 4 lines going. If you'll notice, if the game's a little tight, suddenly
you shorten the bench a little bit.
They shorten the bench a little bit until they get the lead, and then when they get the lead, then those guys check at the end. But I think that's a little bit better to be doing that, because then you got your top end guys getting more numbers, which produces more goals, which you need to win, basically, right? And I mean, I love the 4 line things that, oh, what about the whole season? It's a long season, got to get the playoffs. You got to bank points now. You know what I mean? Like, they take the points now. Like, it's going to be a long way for Nashville to come back, if they can come back.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
There's
a team
far back.
That's what I'm saying. A team like that, all those games that they blew early, a point in October is just as good as a point in March.
Exactly.
So, like, people forget.
And the points early on usually are easier.
Yes, and so
I mean, it's still NHL talent, but like at the end, it's guys are like, oh shit, we're fighting for playoff seeding. Like, a little bit more on the line.
And not only that, when you look at the balance of the teams, let's think another realistic, what's going on in our world? Is there something going on for East to West? We just mentioned it in basketball. Look at this. Who are the strongest teams in the league? Let's go out west and take a look around. Because everyone's going to say, what about Boston? Boston just fired their coach. Doesn't that surprise you?
Not really.
Okay. And they did win. They came back with a win, okay?
They got the new coach bump?
Yes, they do. Yeah, for 1 game, maybe. I don't know. And their opponent
maybe more.
Their opponent was Utah at home. You change the coach and
you
lose
can only
that game.
beat who's in front of you. They shut them out.
Okay, yeah, and how many did they score?
That doesn't matter. They won.
I think one was in an empty net. Come on.
No, it was a 1-0 win.
It was 1-0? Okay, yeah, they missed the empty net. Okay.
And Utah's pretty good defensively, so.
was a boring game. I watched it.
It doesn't matter.
Like
Win's a win.
Okay, I agree with it. I'm just saying, like, we're talking about the top teams. The teams that are contending, to me, the stronger teams are in the West. And I'm going to make a bold statement right here. I really believe at the end of the year, when we get to the wild card, all the wild cards are going to come from the Metropolitan Division, and none of those teams in the Atlantic Division, unless you are the top three, none of those teams are going to make it.
So Buffalo, Boston, you're saying aren't going to make the playoffs?
No, I don't. I think that they're going to both fall off. I think Buffalo is going to make a shot at it. I think Detroit doesn't score enough to do it. And I'm looking at the teams on the other side. Look at who I'm talking about. Let's just go from the top. Is Washington going away? Now, one thing we got to mention here at the House That Happens.
I think Washington's basically guaranteed a top 3 seed in that Metropolitan.
Too many games to go, and they lost Ovechkin. Okay? That's
hurt.
And let's have a big shout out to Ovechkin here. I haven't always been the most pro Ovechkin guy. I think he's the greatest goal scorer of all time. But the run that he was having this year to have 15 goals on like, he wasn't going to get 60. Let's just say that. Okay.
Sure.
But I mean, he's got a shot at 50 at 39 years old. He's the LeBron of the NHL right now.
He's having a beautiful renaissance season.
And he got hurt, man. Even me in my heart of hearts, he's gone, look, 6 weeks at least. He's gone 6 weeks.
I think 4 to 6, they're saying.
I hope it's 4 because Ovechkin's played more games in his time span than any player in the league.
Yeah, he does not miss games usually. Yeah.
However, people are saying, look at it's coming up. It's just father time. Look at all the guys that you think about later in life that have these, Kobe being one later in their career. Guys, you seem to be, weird shit happens because you've been playing at an NHL level for 20 years. Come on. Really sorry to hear about Ovechkin. Yeah. I think that might be a fall off. I'm not calling Washington just yet, but look at the other teams in that division. The Islanders are looking weird. Win 3, lose 3. I still say the Islanders.
Yeah, they're on a 3-game losing streak. I told you.
I think they're going to be, every game they play, they've had hard luck. I've watched a lot of Islander games. They're okay. I don't know. But
at a certain point, that becomes your identity. And it's kind of this, it becomes a pattern. It becomes...
Well, we'll wait and see. And they're missing a couple scorers. I think Brazel's out of the lineup.
Barzal, yeah.
Yeah, okay, but if you look at the rest of the teams in that division, Carolina ain't going nowhere. Jersey ain't going nowhere. The Rangers aren't going nowhere.
Well, Jersey's record's a little bit inflated
because they got more games, but still, if they keep winning and they stay up there, so I
think they'll make the playoff, but like... I'm not looking at them like a contender like I was at the beginning of the season.
We got 60 games to go. We'll figure it out from there. But...
I think the New York Rangers, like, they have their problems, sure, but they got the goaltending, and they're top 10 in penalty kill and power play, and that's usually
a good formula
for a long playoff run.
And they got 3 good lines. Who cares about their 4th line? But the Rangers do have 3 solid lines. So I'm putting them in there. Who am I missing in that? So all of those teams make the playoffs. You eliminate Boston, Buffalo, Detroit. They're not going to.
I think Boston or Buffalo should still make it.
You know what I think about Boston? Okay, I hope they fall down. I hope Marchand, you vermin, you shouldn't even be on Team Canada, but we'll get to that in a minute right here. You know what I mean? I'm sick of those guys.
I hope they miss the playoffs too, but like, I can't see them being completely out of it. Let's be real.
Well, I'm just saying. The big thing is they got a minus 20 goal differential. That's the big standout. That's the huge one. That's huge. That's one of the main. And what are the Islanders? The Islanders are only, what, 6 or 7?
-8.
Yeah. So and last week they were -2. So like they lost the 3 games, and there goes it. They win a couple games, they're going to be back.
But Boston, the new coach bump. We'll see.
Joe
Sacco's a very good coach.
I'm not going to say he's not, but another one of the metrics I've looking at is all the teams that are top that I'm talking about, except for maybe the Islanders, they all have a plus differential. And if you've seen last year at the end of the playoffs, only one team made the playoffs with a minus differential,
Washington,
which was Washington, and they just had that great run at the end that got them in, so they were on a hot streak. So if you're running with a minus differential and we're pushing American Thanksgiving, does that tell me you're a playoff team? Boston can't score.
We'll see.
Their goaltending is not as what it's supposed to be, which is even worse because
I wonder if they go to Korpisalo now since Swayman's been struggling because he got the shutout last night against Utah, didn't he?
There you go. And it's very interesting talking about the great Boston goaltending tandem. And look what happened this year. What's Allmark doing in Ottawa right now? Allmark's probably one of the reasons they were under 500. The guy's been abysmal at times.
Yeah, 887 save percentage and a 3.00 goals against.
Okay. Here's my chance to put in my 2 cents about the save.
Then we need to go back to Leafs because we barely even got into them.
Oh, that's right. Okay, let's continue. I got a bunch of things to be saying about them. Number one is...
Well, hold on. We're on goaltending. Let's stick with that.
Okay,
we flip-flop a little too much, but...
Okay, that's because we're excited. I want you guys to know everything. I'm going to argue about this, about the percentage, because I'm going to look at our big buddy on Carolina, Perchekov. You don't think he's whatever his name, the Russian, right? Or is he Czech? Whatever, doesn't matter. His save percentage just went over 9, which is your metric to say it better be 9, okay? My thing on this is...
I'm saying you should like 9-10 at least. Probably like 9-15.
Okay, I'm going to take a goaltender that's going to be at 9. I'm very happy. If he's at 8.95, I'm happy with this goaltender in this situation. First of all, Carolina doesn't get a lot of shots on goal. I mean, they give up, like they're one of those teams that don't give up a lot of shots. So therefore, when he does give up a goal on low amount of shots, whatever, his percentage is going to look a little bit lower due to math. However, what he does do is he makes the save at the right time. So I want to know what time you make the save at that point in game and situational. I'll take 8.95 if I know you're making that save at that time. And I've watched Carolina enough to know that he's not the best goalie in the league. I will give him that. But the guy makes the right save at the right time. How many games have Carolina won now? 4-2, 5-3. He's made the save. They've scored the big goal, got an empty netter, game over. Carolina's real. They're real. They're a strong team, and they've got good defensemen. What's his name? The old guy's playing back there for him. Isn't it Burns is on there back?
Yeah, he's having a rough go this year, though.
But you know, in the situations, he's in there, too. He's not Bouchard. He's not Matheson. Okay, let's just get to the chase on that. So I'm just looking at a lot of numbers metric-wise that tell me Carolina's going to be there, and I don't care if my goaltender, if he's making the save, if we're getting low shots on goal, and you're making the big save, and you're around 8.95, I'm good with that.
I think that's going to bite them, though, especially now since they have to lean on Kochetkov because Anderson's injured.
And we don't know about this kid. He's supposed to be a good prospect. I went back.
He's been up and down throughout his career, though,
yeah,
so
exactly.
far.
So he hasn't shown anything. But then again, Stollers was up and down for his career for a long time, too. Never gave a shot. Look at him now. Which gets back to the Leafs. We're going to talk about the Leafs and their goaltending. Who is a better tandem in the league right now?
Well, also, Solar's played for some really crappy teams. Let's not forget.
Agreed. And then when he got in Florida, he didn't get to play enough because he was behind a very
He played very well, though,
yes,
last year.
Yes, he did. So when you look at it, when you combine it, the only thing I'm saying about the Leafs, we'll get back to them because we're talking about goaltending. I think they got the best tandem in the league right now.
Yeah.
Wall played outstanding the other night.
He did.
You know, he was
first shutout of the year versus... where is this?
Vegas.
Versus Vegas, thank you. Fraser Minton getting his first career goal, the game
Beautiful
winner.
Gold.
And then, of course, on Saturday night, they got the win at Edmonton.
Well, which is another thing, before we go,
Bouchard's brutal turnover there.
And like I said, then he scored 3 points against Ottawa. Do you think that Edmonton was really going to lose the whole Ontario-Montreal trip?
Of course not.
And Ottawa, I knew was taking a beating. I said they have to Montreal steals one from them. Toronto, that was a great game, by the way. That Edmonton-Toronto game was one of the better games I've seen all year.
Yeah.
Montreal steals a win off them. Now they're going into Ottawa, and they're gnarly. But I don't think that Edmonton's got to get their back end together. We're just talking about Bouchard, too. And is Skinner the man?
They have a lot of problems, back end and goaltending.
Yes.
I really doubt this team's going back to the Stanley Cup final the way they're set up.
Well, I think they can prove 60 games to go. Remember this, people.
They have a lot of holes.
But they can score. When they get going,
that's going to get you into the playoffs. But we've said this, in the playoffs,
you got to have your back end tightened up. Maybe they'll go look for somebody. I heard their salary cap situation's a little bit sketchy for them to get a player.
That's the thing.
That's their thing, because they're going to have to do the old salary cap gymnastics if they're going to pull somebody in at playoff time. That's for sure.
Yeah, bring in Simone Biles. Jesus.
We're going to have to wait and see. Because like I said, we're talking about all this. We're going to have our first power rankings next week. However, when you look at it, you got to say there's 60 games to go.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that 60 games to go, anything else you want to bring up?
Well, let's talk a little bit more about the Reaves versus the Whitecloud hits.
Oh, that was my next subject. Okay, I'm going to let you go first. What your take on it?
Well, listen, what Reaves did, it should be suspendable.
Yes.
At the same time, if you have a kid or whatever that's playing hockey, you got to be do not do what Nurse did here, because he put himself in a compromising position.
He did. He even admitted that, but he didn't expect a freight train to come in either.
That's kind of on you though, because you got to look what do all the greats say? When you get on the ice, you look around and see who's on the ice.
Oh, yes. I understand that. That's a huge thing too, which I say, okay, continue. I don't want to butt in yet.
The Whitecloud one, I think that's pretty frustrating as a Leaf fan. Didn't even get a penalty for that.
Oh, you should have got a penalty.
The Leafs got the only penalty from that.
I know. That was insane. I rewinded about 6 times. Now, look at my take on it is going to be a little bit different. Look where the Knies hit was. Look where the Nurse hit was. The thing about the Knies hit, it was open ice in the flow of the game. Reaves went charging at the guy. Number 2 is reputation in this league is huge. Okay,
Yeah.
so you add on the reputation, and he went right for the head. Now, was he going for the head? It looked pretty good because he took his head clean off. Of course, we said, I didn't mean to do that. Man, you were coming in at full speed at the guy. Now, part of it was Nurse's problem, like you say. This ain't junior.
Yeah.
Let's not be doing the compulsories in your own end. When you got a guy like Reaves on the ice, and what's he going to do? He's just going to skate fast and hit people. That's you he's looking for. So a bit of it is on Nurse. However, if you look at it the way the Whitlock, when he hit Knies.
Whitecloud,
whatever his name is, he still left his feet at the last second.
Yeah.
And I never heard anyone. And Reaves left his feet. So when you leave your feet, that's when the penalty should have come in. Now, he was definitely going for chest. The speed was high. The dynamics were a little bit different. But he still should have got a penalty.
Yeah.
Just because your feet left the ground alone. Now, if his feet,
that's charging, isn't it?
that's what I'm saying. And basically, they should have been both charging on both ends, but the other one was a little bit more brutal. I don't think it's fair to you Leaf fans because the way you can look at it your way and say, hey, how are we judging this? Player safety, blah, blah, blah. It all looks like it's going out the window. But I really think the difference is look where the hits were on the ice and the flow of the game at the time. That definitely makes them different types of checks, even though I do believe that Whitecloud should have got charged.
A penalty. That's my big problem.
Yeah. I think that Knies could have come back to play.
The concussion spotters took him out.
Okay, that's what they're saying. But I'm going to tell you about some sketchy
I don't know.
shit.
I think that's a little ludicrous for us to be saying he.
I don't know, and I hope he's not because he's going to be playing tonight.
Tomorrow.
He's playing tomorrow. Yeah. Okay, I agree they went into
precaution?
Yeah, protocol, whatever the case may be, and let's leave him out for the rest of the game. But that's also ammunition. I'm a conspiracy guy on this. That's also ammunition for the Leafs to lose later. If he came back on the ice, they're going to be able to say, hey, Nurse is going to be out, 5 to 7 days. Now he's going to be playing right away. That doesn't make a difference on the way you hit a guy in headshots. That doesn't eliminate it. But you knew you knew Nurse was going to be out. That's why another suspension come in. Because if you hurt a guy, you take him out, your guy's got to sit. Okay, eye for an eye kind of bullshit. But in the Knies situation was a little bit different. And Knies is going to play again, and I still believe there should have been a penalty. No matter what they tell me, there should be a penalty. I don't know if it should have been a double minor or a match. I'm not quite convinced on that. Reaves, yes. Whitecloud, but the fact that he didn't get a penalty,
it's ludicrous.
Then they've given us ammunition. Like, what are you guys doing? What about player safety? What about the rules? Oh, and then a few minutes later, they did call a penalty. About 5 minutes later, they called a penalty on Vegas that was freaking some
makeup call.
Oh, just I was going to text you right then and go, "There's a makeup call, right there." You know what I mean? And the other game I seen too. What was it? It was against, was it the Calgary game or was it Edmonton game? They got, no, it wasn't. It was the Ottawa game where Giroux did that stupid thing where he fell in the puck and he got a delay of the game in the face-off. They don't call it that often, but they just got a guy off on a penalty. Shabbat.
Yeah.
Oh, Shabbat.
Your buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Future Norris Trophy winner, Shabbat.
Great skater, but in any event, Giroux falls down. Okay, on the puck. Now it's a two-man advantage for almost 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Of course, Edmund Pott won right away. What happens 6 or 7 minutes later? Ryan Nugent got Hopkins, I believe it was, or was it Hyman? One of them got a penalty. I rewound it 3 times and go, is that a slash? Is that really a slash? Oh, no. That was the makeup call. Oh, gee. You know what I mean?
Our favorite.
Oh, it just drives me crazy, bro. Make it up. It's like making up with your old girlfriend. No, it's over. We don't do makeup shit. They got to take that out of the game.
I agree. So the Leafs also signed Alex Nylander, and I believe they're calling him up for tomorrow's game.
Very interesting, eh? But like I said,
they need forwards.
I was just going to say,
guys.
I think any other team in the league, I did not realize it should be respected. The depth that the Leafs have established from forwards, and they got a couple defensemen kicking around that they could bring up too. Not a lot of teams are going to do that. Like a Carolina, if they suddenly had 2 or 3 of their injured guys at the top, they're in trouble. Jersey, they had Hughes out for a while. They just struggled. You know what I mean? And your buddy Meyer too. I thought he'd pick it up more. He's not.
Timo Meyer.
Timo Meyer on them.
I told you at the beginning of the season at that season preview show, I don't think he's a great fit for New Jersey.
No, doesn't play their style. Too defensive, too constrained. But the only one out there, Jack Hughes, skates around like he's Connor McDavid.
Oh, he's great.
Oh, yeah. Of
he's
course
great.
he is. Not good in his own end. Okay, just gonna say that.
He can grow.
Yeah,
he can take tips from Nico Hischier as captain.
Yeah, that I think he's the best all-around player. He should be in line for a Selke too, don't you think?
He's been nominated before.
Yeah, like he's having a great season, like that glue end on the top of them. But then again, they're going to question Jersey's goaltending.
Yeah, absolutely. But Nico Hischier, like I remember when he came in the league, he kind of like they didn't exactly say this, but he was kind of like Datsuk light. And he's very much lived up to that reputation, I think.
When you think about it, yeah, that's a good. Yeah, I can handle it. I've seen a lot of Jersey games. He looks good out there. You know what I mean? One of the things when I was watching Washington and I was looking out there and I was seeing all those ex-Leafs looking good on that Washington lineup. Your boy Sandin,
Sandin.
Yeah.
I'm happy he's doing well.
He's looking better than I've ever seen him on the Leafs. And who else is on that team that's from the Leafs? Third or fourth liner, I believe. I can't remember.
On Washington?
I think it's
Let me
Washington.
check quickly.
And for some reason, they brought Lars Eller back, but he's perfect for their system.
I agree.
You know what I mean? But I think that Washington, they're going to be one of those guys battling for a playoff spot. You watch when we get down the road. I think
they're going to be okay.
You think so?
Yeah. I think Sandin's the only ex-Leaf on that team.
I seen another ex-Leaf one. Did Hurdle play for the Leafs?
No. Hurdle on Vegas?
No. Then there's somebody on Anaheim, isn't there, that's out there that went from the Leafs? Seen them playing the other night, so I guess it wasn't on Washington. I said, hey, that guy's pretty good. The Leafs could use him right now. But you can't keep everyone because it's all comes down to the good old salary cap.
Yeah, the only guy I think the Leafs really made a mistake letting go was Mason Marchment.
Good point.
Yeah.
He's having a decent year.
He's been very good ever since Toronto got rid of him. All the other guys like Trevor Moore and those are like kind of like not to be like mean or anything, but like they're kind of a little bit more disposable pieces. I don't mind them moving on. There's actually talk because I think St. Louis is letting Kapanen go. There's talk of getting him back. You know what I think?
I don't think he's a Berube
Kapanen.
guy. He's not a Berube guy. He doesn't play that style of hockey.
I think he's got his problems too, especially like. When he's in the offensive zone, he's kind of like his deer in headlights.
Yes.
And he's got the hands, he's got the feet, but the hands don't catch up to the feet, if that makes any sense.
Okay, I hear what you're saying, but I think that the Leafs are going to have a very interesting problem in about a month or so because they'll have a log jam. Because when all of these guys get healthy, press box is going to be pretty damn full, don't you think?
Well, you only have 23 roster spots before trade deadline.
Okay, but I'm saying, wow, like their depth has to be admired. And like when all these guys come back, like, you know, even Domi had to sit out a game, but I think that was just a Domi take a rest game.
I'm fine with that. I told you they should do that.
Yeah, and now that he suddenly had an injury, it's not a bad thing. Give him the restart. He hasn't been playing bad. That's the thing. Robertson hasn't been playing bad, but he's not producing.
That's the big problem. I know you've been defending him, but
it's hard. But
when
my
he's
guy,
not scoring. 1 point in 17 games.
He buzzed around the other night like no tomorrow. What'd he get for it? Nothing. And who was he playing with? Playing with Minton for a while, wasn't he? Those guys were buzzing out there. He didn't get an assist on the Minton goal because there was a line change, and it was Nylander set him up nicely, wasn't it? Beautiful setup. Yeah. But that line was buzzing around all night for the rest of the night, and Robertson got nothing again.
You know what, though? I'm happy that they're giving him his playing time at least, but...
got to produce.
Change of scenery, maybe the best thing for him.
I could see him going to a team like freaking Edmonton and suddenly potting like 5 and 6.
I don't think the Leafs are going to trade him to Edmonton. But
no, I don't. I hope he doesn't get traded. I like the way he plays, but here's...
if he does get traded, I hope it's part of like a bigger move.
Oh, yeah.
Or we get an upgrade.
Yeah.
Which could happen. We'll see.
Okay, but then again, it's one of the things I found around the league, too. Smaller guys, if you don't have those tree trunks legs, like look at one of the things that I've noticed about his brother in Dallas is they put a big winger on him.
Yeah.
They put a big winger on him. He's not scoring the way that he's been used to, but I've noticed in the Dallas games. But the thing about Dallas is look at the two lines. Look at the old guys, Duchesne, Seguin. Those guys are playing out of their minds. You know what I mean? Like, why can't Matt Duchesne be considered for Team Canada?
I mean, he's maybe. How many points does he have this year?
He's doing good. Anyways, we're not because we're trying to keep the show a little bit tighter. You got to get out of here.
So one thing I also want to bring up is Montgomery, now that he's been fired by Boston. All three of the Coach of the Year finalists, the Jack Adams finalists from 2 years, all fired.
Yeah, I heard that in a number of places. Your job isn't safe in the NHL, that's for sure.
Yeah, so I guess to your point, Duchesne's having a great year, but he's never really been a Team Canada guy.
No, but when he was Colorado days, he was on the cusp. But
but there's whispers of like some attitude problems.
Yeah,
there.
I've heard that. I heard that's the main reason they didn't re-sign him in Colorado. Whatever, but he plays.
Well, there was some. The fallout there was pretty ugly.
Yes, but he looks great with Singh. When they play together, they look damn good, so they could be on there. But anyways, well, because we were trying to keep this a little bit tighter, I just want to end my hockey talk on the hockey talk on this, if you don't mind. I think it's insane that they're picking this team by December 6th. I think it's insane that they put these 6 players. Now, I know it's marketing. I know you got to get this thing going.
But even like the Olympic teams have always been in around that time, though.
I think this is a little too early. They're not playing till February. You know how many guys...
But like, again, the Olympics, it's always like mid-December or whatever where they pick the teams.
I always thought it was in January.
No, it's always December.
Well, I'm just going to sit here and say, when we get our asses kicked in the Four Nations tournament and we got 8 guys that are hotter than hell in the NHL sitting in freaking Puerto Rico or Jamaica on a vacation. I'm like the Dylan Stromes. Like, are we going to take a look at this kid? Why not? Like, he's playing great hockey. There's going to be a couple of defensemen out there, but they've got the name guys.
The Dylan Strome, I would say probably not, because there's a logjam at center, and
who's our centers?
You need guys that could shift over to the wing, right? And like, he doesn't scream like he's a great fit on the wing for me.
Okay, so we got Braden Point, we got Sidney Crosby, we got Nathan McKinnon.
Well, McDavid, McKinnon, Crosby, I think those are 1, 2, 3 centers, if you ask me. I think Bedard's probably going to have to move to the wing.
Bedard ain't making the team.
You don't think so?
No. That's what I think about small players. They just put a big winger on them. These guys, if they don't have Gallagher legs, they get pushed around. Caulfield, Bedard, Suzuki, Robertson in Minnesota.
Whatever. Okay. Like, we got Scheifele, I think, is probably making a good case for himself to make the team.
Okay, there you go. So if I don't see his name on the December 6th, like, he's going to make it because Winnipeg's going to be there. But if Scheifele's not on the team, I'm going to go, what? And if they even think about Kyle Connor, I'm not going to be mad about that.
He's on the States. He's American.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, but he will be on the team, the Americans.
He has to be.
Okay, but what's the other guy scoring on Winnipeg that they've been talking about? They got another Canadian on there that I think that should get some consideration. He's not there because he's hot. You go with the players that are playing good at the moment. Aren't we in the moment? Isn't that what life's all about, in the moment? Come on. No,
are you talking about Morrissey?
Yeah, Morrissey be a great guy up on the team. Why not? He'd be a good fourth liner and he kills penalties.
Well, he's a defenseman. So he's not.
Well,
he won't be
anyways,
playing fourth line.
he'd be a guy there because some of our defensemen, I'm like the Bouchard situation.
No, keep him off the team.
Okay, there you go. So, would you rather have Morrissey or Bouchard? Game over. Let's not even talk about it.
Well, I don't even think that's a real conversation because one of them's lefty, one of them's righty.
Point well taken. Okay, is Logan Thomas getting a chance to be one of the goaltenders? Who is our goaltenders? Come on, he's playing some great hockey.
Binnington's definitely our number. Binnington, Montembeault, I would say are our 1-2.
Ooh, what about Eden Hill?
He's probably there as well.
Oh, if my pick right now, and I love Montembeault, he's my boy and everything. But if I had the 3 right now, I'd be taking Binnington, Hill, and Logan Thomas. That would be my 3. You know
Anyways,
what I mean?
we got to keep this moving.
Okay, let's go. That's to the games, right?
All right. So first up, Chicago at Philly. I'm going to take Philly to defend home ice.
I'm doing the same.
Minnesota, Calgary. I'm going to take Minnesota to steal this one on the road.
Wow, I did the same thing. I was going to go away from it because Minnie played great beating Edmonton, so will they have a little bit of a come down? That was a tight game, and then Minnesota just freaking played D and slapped them. 5-2 was the end, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, good game, though.
Seattle at LA. I'm going to choose LA at home.
Of course, LA at home.
Colorado at Florida. I'm going to choose Colorado to steal this one on the road.
Wow, I usually do that, but I'm taking Florida because they got 2 losses in a row, and they're not going to be going for 3 losses in a row.
Okay, fair enough.
That's I'm looking at.
Colorado wins the games you don't expect them to win.
Yeah, yes. My pro line the other night told me that.
Vegas at Montreal. I'm going to choose Vegas to steal this one on the road.
I don't think they're going to lose 2 games in a row.
Vegas?
Yeah, I'm taking Vegas.
Wow. Vancouver at Ottawa. I'm going to choose Vancouver. Ottawa is in quite the hole right now.
I'm asked. Vancouver all day.
Wow, we are also just 1 pick apart. Boston at Detroit. I'm going to choose Boston to steal it on the road. New coach bump.
Screw that. Detroit's going to bitch slap them. Throw pieces at them all night.
Dallas at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is going to defend home ice.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm taking Tampa Bay.
Utah at Pittsburgh. I'm going to choose Pittsburgh to win at home. They've been very good Saturday nights.
Yes, they have to win, too, if they're going to have any kind of going there. And then here comes the game of the night, in my opinion.
New Jersey, Washington?
Yeah, game of the night.
Okay, wow. I'm going to choose Washington at home.
I'm taking Jersey to steal it at home. That's my steal game right there.
Carolina at Columbus.
Come on.
I think we're both on Carolina.
Yeah.
Winnipeg at Nashville. This one I've gone back and forth on, but Nashville's actually been very good Saturday night at home. I'm going to choose the Predators.
Wow, I did too.
Wow.
I took the Predators. I thought you would take the Jets for sure.
I thought about it.
Yeah.
I went back and forth. St. Louis at the New York Islanders. I'm going to choose the Blues to steal it on the road, especially with Robert Thomas back.
No, I'm staying with St. Patrick and my Islanders.
Even though they lost 3 in a row.
They won't lose 4.
Okay. Buffalo at San Jose. This was a pick I went back and forth on. Buffalo's coming off a back-to-back, an overtime win in Anaheim. I think they're going to be a little bit tired after that, so give me San Jose at home.
I'm taking Buffalo for the sweep.
Okay.
For the momentum.
And New York Rangers at the Edmonton Oilers. I'm going to choose the Rangers to steal it on the road.
I think that Edmonton's too pissed off about the Minnesota game. They're going to defend it there. I think that if it gets a little bit wide open, they will win. Because you notice the thing in the NHL is teams try to keep it tight. Everyone's playing the Ruby style. Everyone's afraid to let it get wide open. And you know what? My beloved Montreal Canadiens, a quick thing. We've got a 2-game winning streak. Keep the lineup steady. And guess what? When we open it up, we're a little bit better.
Okay.
We're a little bit when we open it up. Now, sometimes that could expose us to the back end at times, which has had earlier in the year. But we've actually opened up a bit skating-wise, and it's given us more opportunities to score. And what's our problem in Montreal? Scoring goals. Yeah.
All right, we'll move this along to the NFL, where we'll have our power rankings. So I imagine there's been a little bit of a change in yours, as there has mine.
Of course.
So number 5, even though they just lost on Thursday, I'm going to put the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4, I'm going to put the Philadelphia Eagles, new on my list. Number 3, moving down 2 spots, the Kansas City Chiefs. Number 2, our friends from just across the lake, the Buffalo Bills. And number 1, don't you dare say they're in light blue.
Thank you.
The Detroit Lions.
And the favorites of Vegas to win the Super Bowl right now. First time ever in the history of my life. The Detroit Lions are the number 1. This is too good, people. Too good. Long way to go. Now, you know what I'm trying to tell all my Lions people? Don't get stupid about this. This game we have this weekend is a trap game. We're going into Indy, and Anthony Richardson's the type of quarterback we have issues with.
Yeah.
They play a little bit of defense on the back end. Don't get stupid, because if Minnesota wins, guess what? All of a sudden, Minnesota's 9-2. We could be 9-2. So as high as I am on Honolulu Blue, let's get something straight here. We got to keep winning. People forget there's 7 games left. You know what I mean? It's 7 games left. So I haven't set up a parade. I'm stomping on the hands that are getting on my bandwagon. I'm continuing to do that.
Who's your power rankings?
It's exactly the same as yours.
Wow.
Exactly the same.
So Pittsburgh, Philly, KC, Buffalo, Detroit.
I had to keep Pittsburgh on there even though they lost. And you know what slapped me? I changed my pick in the pick and pool the other night. I told you, eh?
Yeah.
After convincing everyone why to take Cleveland, I take the pick. This is a classic example of don't listen to me. Told everyone why Cleveland was going to win that game, including the weather, and I jump on the Pittsburgh bandwagon at the last second. I'm an idiot. You know what I mean?
Who's your number 6 on your power ranking?
I still have Baltimore there.
I had the Chargers.
Did you?
I seriously considered putting them number 5, especially after Pittsburgh lost to Cleveland.
Yeah, but that was just one of those messy games, so I wasn't really worried
Still,
about
the Chargers, 4 wins in a row.
Exactly, but I'm also saying we should also be giving Arizona some love then.
I know, Baltimore, they've lost 2 in their last 5, so.
They're and the way they lose is pathetic.
I know.
You know what I mean? You watch them how are you losing like that? And one of the plays in that Pittsburgh game, Humphreys get the ball ripped out of the guys. Come on, man. And you know what? There's another thing coming up here. I'm
sorry, who's the other team you were saying we should be? Did you say
Arizona?
Yeah, 4 in a row.
Big game this weekend for them. But let's look at it this way. Lamar, I now say that Josh Allen is the front runner for the MVP.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm going to put Josh Allen there. That 32-yard run on 4th down against Kansas City.
Man, if Cincinnati was any good, Joe Burrow would be number 1 in line.
He's no doubt. He's playing as good as any quarterback in the league. But that record, you just got to – I didn't see Joe after the game and Chase. Those guys do not look happy.
The season both of them are having, and it's just being
unbelievable.
It's ridiculous.
But their defense can't freaking stop a cold. Whatever. They're in trouble. So
that coach has a fire under his ass right now.
Oh yeah, he's in big trouble. So let's go as we usually do. We take a quick run around the league.
AFC East, it's Buffalo and nobody else.
Okay, so we're there, but I'm not counting Miami out. Okay, because if you look at the Miami schedule, the Miami schedule is
they got to win out though, or like they have room for maybe one loss
if they have room for that. Okay, but their schedule is very becoming. They don't play anybody tough. So
what do you mean? They go into Green Bay, they go into Houston, they play San Francisco at home.
San Francisco, yeah, they're going to win those games. They're going to win all their home games.
They're going to go into Cleveland second last week of the season. If that's another snow game, we know that's where
they're in trouble there.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're going to get there, but the only team I will give the time of day to is Miami with an outside chance, but I don't think they're going to
By the way, Jameis Winston has beat the Ravens and the Steelers this year.
I know, and God's on his side. God's on his side.
Same with your kicker.
Yeah, there you go. So here we are. But
and also the Giants cut Daniel Jones. So
yes,
and you know what though?
They're going to release him. They're going to release him.
Yeah. We've been talking. So Jameis Winston, obviously a quarterback who's had a nice second half of his career. Jared Goff. We've seen guys do it with Sam Darnold.
Yes.
Could he be a guy that has
Baker Mayfield?
Yeah, exactly. Could he be a guy that has a career renaissance in a couple years?
I don't see it happening. He's
never know.
He's going to go to the Mitchell Trubisky side of the quarterbacks. He'll be a backup for a long time. But you got to look around. The good thing about Buffalo, too, is they got that bend but don't break defense. They scheme differently every day. Kahil Shakir is going to be a keeper on my fantasy league. He's becoming one of the best slot receivers in the league. So Buffalo's there. But if you Miami's got a bye. I know they've got a couple tough games. So does Buffalo. Buffalo's still got to play the Lions in San Francisco, don't they?
Yeah. And do you say Miami already had their bye week?
All right. Okay. Who is in the bye in that division? In any event, Miami has to go.
Buffalo, the Jets, and the Patriots still have theirs.
Yeah. Okay. So that's going to be their good. So
but the Jets and Patriots are done.
Yeah. You know what? We don't talk about Dallas or the Jets anymore for the rest of the year. We're gonna go to the Tony Carr.
Unless something big comes up.
Unless something insane like Aaron Rodgers had an affair with Taylor Swift. Then outside of that, there's no reason to talk about both those teams.
Either way, let's move on.
Okay. So now
AFC North.
That's going to be crazy because Pittsburgh and Baltimore are both going to make it. But Pittsburgh's schedule going home is going to be tough. That was a tough loss to Cleveland. That could bite them in the ass. Because you look at the rest of their schedule, there's nothing easy. They got 4 division games to go, 2 against Cincinnati. You know they're probably going to be a split there. They still got to play Cleveland again.
You got to go into Baltimore. You got to go into Philly.
And you got to go into Philly.
And play the Chiefs.
And the Chiefs. So I'm saying Pittsburgh, I think Baltimore in the end is going to steal it, but we'll find out tonight because Baltimore is in L.A., and that's another thing. So I'll say both teams make the playoffs, but I think Baltimore will end up winning the division. They're going to squeeze it. When you go to the AFC South, what do we got? Texas is going to win the division for sure. Can Indy pull off enough games to stay relevant? I'm not sure. They got the Lions now, but the rest of their schedule is freaking a joke.
I mean, they go into Denver. That's going to be a tough one. But then at the Patriots versus the Titans.
Yes.
At the Giants versus the Jaguars. And you still have a bye week.
There you go. So I'm saying
actually, they played Denver coming off the bye week, which I think bodes very well for them.
Of course, and that could be playoff implications for both of those teams.
Sure.
Because we're going there. Because when we get to the AFC West, there's a realistic possibility 3 teams could come out of here because Kansas City's going to be there.
It's definitely looking more and more like the Chargers are going to be a playoff team.
You got it. And Denver's no snooze because they've got the toughest defense in the league, and they've been proving it.
Bo Nix has been money.
Oh, he's you know what?
He's in talks for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Do I think he's going to win it? Probably not.
Well, Jaden Daniels is going to have to pick it up a bit, but I say ever since he's got that big hit and he's had the rib problem, that's always scared me about the Jaden Daniels thing is his size. Bo Nix is a beast.
Yeah.
He's Josh Allen beast size. So you know what? And Josh Allen and Bo Nix, I noticed they go looking for the contact.
Yeah.
When they go running, like they slide, but if there's last second, they can put their shoulder down there doing it. And you can't be bitching about your rookie guy and Derek May.
Drake May? I love Drake.
He's going to be fine too. So the quarterback situation's there. We're going to talk about
the only thing with Denver is down the stretch, their last 3 games are really tough. At the
Very.
Chargers, at the Bengals, and versus KC.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a dogfight, but I do see those 3 teams those 2 teams from the AFC West you cannot sleep on.
No.
Especially if you're going into their house. If you're going into SoFi against the Chargers, if you're going into Mile High, those teams are ready to go. Like last week, I don't know. I'm glad I took it in the pick'em, I guess, because I didn't write it down because I won money on a pro line. One of my bets was Denver.
Yeah.
Denver at home. I think
Although
Denver,
you chose Atlanta on the show.
Yeah, I don't know why, because I guess I didn't have written down it was the last second, but thank God in my pool I did take Denver, and I won money on them.
In the NFC, Philly's leading the division.
They're-
They should win.
They're going to win it easily, and Washington will make the playoffs. I think that the NFC Conference Championship game is going to be Philadelphia and Detroit, and I'm very worried about that game because Philadelphia is a battle-tested team. And if you look at their schedule down there, Philadelphia can beat anybody on their schedule, so they don't give a shit who they're playing. You know what I mean? They can beat anybody.
Yeah, but they got a couple tough games down the stretch.
Every game in the NFL
At the
is
Rams,
a tough game.
I'm not saying that they play Carolina. I don't know. I don't think that's going to be a worry for them. But at the Rams, at the Ravens versus the Steelers, and they still got to go into Washington.
I think they're going to beat Washington. I mean, Washington's not going to be a problem for them.
In Washington, really?
No, I think they're going to beat them. Not a problem. They're going to be 11-win team at least, maybe 12.
Well, they're already at 8.
That's what I'm saying. So yeah, they're going to lose their last 6. They're going to go 500. I'll say 4-2 at the worst. So what does that put them? A 13-game win team.
Yeah.
That's a division winner. No doubt about it. So I'm going to take them in Washington. The NFC North is still the best division in football.
Oh, hands down.
And you got the top 3 teams that should go on there. Now, there's some interesting games this week that are going to make it interesting. Green Bay and San Francisco. That's a playoff implication game in week 12. Because San Francisco's got their issues. They just can't
They're
seem
last
to close.
in their division. Who would have thought that was going to happen?
Nobody. But you know what? They're what? A game out?
Yeah.
From the top? No, 2 games out.
One game out.
1 game out from Arizona, but doesn't one of those teams have a bye? So they're like a game and a half?
They've all had their bye in that division.
Okay, but Arizona's like, especially in Arizona, don't sleep on them. Their defense is really, really improved.
Well, back to the North.
Okay, the North. All 3 of those teams can make it, don't you think?
I think they are going to make it.
Yeah, so what we're saying is that only one team is going to come out of the NFC West.
Yeah, I don't think it's whoever wins that division. Because the rest of that division is so mediocre, they're not going to get a wild card spot.
Okay, so what's San Francisco record right now?
5-5.
Okay, so they win 5 of the last 6. That's 11 games. So 11 games get you in the playoffs. You got to start thinking of how many games are going to get you in the playoffs.
Yeah.
At least 10.
It might be a little bit more in the NFC, though.
That's what I'm saying, because at the top, it's at the bottom.
Because like Minnesota's already at 8, and then Green Bay and Washington are already at 7.
There you go. With 6 games left. So I'm saying you got to win 10 games to make the playoffs. So
in the NFC, it might be 11.
Could be. So San Francisco, I'm giving
they're in trouble.
Okay.
They're in trouble.
Okay, what if the Rams win tonight?
Again, but like I think I stand by my take. It's you got to win that division to make the playoffs.
Okay, so I'm not saying no. I'm saying they got an outside chance because I'm really saying when you get to the NFC South, I think only one team is going to make it out of there too.
Yeah, it's probably the Falcons. Outside shot to the Buccaneers, but with those injuries,
yeah, but the thing is that the Falcons got to learn to can't be Heckle and Jekyll. They can't be going up and down the way they are. And guess what? Tampa's got a better schedule. But
I mean, both teams are highly flawed. Like both teams score a lot, but they also allow a lot of points.
Yeah.
Although Atlanta's got a minus point differential, Tampa Bay is actually a plus point differential.
That's what I noticed with a little bit easier schedule, a couple of games to go. I think they got to play Atlanta one more time. It could make a difference.
Yes, they do. But Tampa's also lost 4 in a row.
Yeah, but look who they've lost to. Those are tough games. But they've got it on their schedule.
I mean, you also lost a division game at home to Atlanta. That's
one
the
hurt.
one.
And they should have won that. That was the steal game from Atlanta. So that.
Yeah, but down the stretch, I guess to your point, like they go into the Chargers, but that's their only like really tough game.
Yeah. So they've got a chance to get there. But I'm with you. I'm only saying they're the only team that has a chance to come out of the South. There's only one team's coming out of the South. I just think they're all too shitty to go there. The Saints are. Their coach uptick has done a difference. They won 2 in a row now. So they're especially in New Orleans, like I said, they were an easy pick last week. New Orleans at home, that dome is still a home field advantage to them, so they could be there. But as of right now, like I'm saying, there'll be 2 teams from the NFC East, probably 3 teams from the NFC North.
I will say, though, that Saints game, like, the Browns kicker there did them no favors.
Oh, of course not. Okay, that was a long.
That could have been a much different game if he made all those kicks.
Yeah, but then at the end they exploded for the 2 touchdowns and put them.
Yeah, but don't you think the momentum had a little thing to do with that? Like,
ask Baltimore about the kicks they missed against Pittsburgh.
Agreed.
The Hall of Fame guy. That was a huge difference.
Agreed.
The Cincinnati game against the Chargers. Like, come
I
on,
know.
All the points that were left on the field. Woo.
Like, that's mentally just draining.
Oh,
when
if
you see
just
a
look
teammate do that.
You see Joe Burrow, but does that give the right for Debo to put a chokehold on his kicker?
No.
Okay, so that's what I mean. The tensions are running high when you lose. Everybody happy when you win, when you lose. Now, a lot of guys I've said about that chokehold thing said this. That should have been handled on the side. Guys get pissed at each other all the time. You call guys out. Fair is fair. Hand on a guy's neck.
No, fuck no.
Sorry, Debo. You crossed the line there. But, I mean, it's going to be very interesting. But I think we should get to our picks, shouldn't we?
Yes, so we should note that Atlanta, Buffalo, Cincinnati, Jacksonville, New Orleans, and the New York Jets all on their bye week this week.
That many people on bye?
Yep.
Wow.
So it's a schedule of 13 games.
13.
Last week, you beat me 7-9, or 9-7, I should say. You were 9 for 14. I was 7 for 14, so just average. And we were both on Cleveland, so we both got to the early point here. All right, let's jump right into it. Kansas City at the Carolina Panthers. Kansas City's favored by 10.5. I'm going to take the Panthers to cover at home. I don't think they win, but I think they keep it within 10.
That's why you young people get fooled. Look at the big picture. Kansas City just lost to Buffalo. They need to work on their offense. What a better place to work on their offense in the nice weather in Carolina. They're winning by 20.
I don't think so.
Okay, I'm on the Chiefs.
Okay. Minnesota Vikings at the Chicago Bears. Minnesota is favored by 3.5 on the road. I think they win and they cover.
I'm taking the Bears all day.
Wow.
Same reason why I took Cleveland.
I should have been on the Bears last week.
Yeah.
I didn't. Green Bay didn't play their best and they got away with one. Tennessee at the Houston Texans. Houston's favored by 7.5 at home. I think that spread's a little big. I think Tennessee covers.
I was a little worried about the spread because Tennessee statistically has the best defense in the league. However, the last 3 times that Tennessee's gone into Houston, have you seen the scores?
No.
I'm taking Houston all day and the points.
Detroit at Indianapolis. Detroit's favored by 7 on the road. I'm going to take Detroit.
Yes, even though I'm really worried about the backdoor cover. Indy's a better team than they look like, and they're good at home. They scare me, but
and Richardson just had his best game of the season.
There you go. And running quarterbacks are Detroit's freaking kryptonite. So I'm going, better keep them in the pocket. But I think we'll have the late score for the cover, so it'll be like a 27-17 game, something like that. So I'm confident.
New England at Miami. Miami is favored by 7.5 at home. I think they run away with it. Give me the Dolphins
all day.
Tampa Bay at the New York Giants. Tampa Bay is favored by 6 points on the road. I think the Giants are crap, so give me Tampa Bay.
All day. And Danny DeVito's coming in with his agent.
Tommy DeVito,
yeah. Coming
Tommy
in
Cutlets.
with his It's just a sideshow in New York.
Oh, exactly. Well, when your team's not winning.
Exactly.
Dallas at Washington. Washington is favored by 10.5 at home. Cowboys are no good. Give me the Commanders all day.
All day.
Denver Broncos at the Las Vegas Raiders. Denver's favored by 6 points on the road. Division game, I think Vegas covers.
No, I think they're going to smother. They're going to smother Gardner Minshew. That defense is too ferocious. It'll be a low-scoring game, but I think it's going to be like a 21-10 game, something like that. But I'm very confident in Denver. Sean Payton is proving he's been better. He is a good coach.
He's a great coach.
Yep, that's proven that.
Maybe the game of the week: San Francisco at Green Bay. Green Bay is favored by 3 points at home. I hate this, but I'm going to take the Packers.
Oh, I'm going to take the Packers too because San Fran has not won. And the only time they've beaten
the Packers at Lambeau
is when it's in the playoffs.
Oh, there you go.
Not in the regular season.
Arizona at Seattle, a division game here. Arizona's favored on the road by just a single point. I'm going to take the Cardinals to cover.
Me too. Loving the Cardinals.
Philadelphia at the LA Rams. The Phillies favored by 3 points on the road. This is the Sunday nighter. I'm going to take Philly.
I've been just hyping Philly, too, and I've got to take Philly even though I don't want to go against my boy Stafford. I'm going to take Philly for it's going to be not as high scoring. I think it should be an under. That front four of the young front four and the Rams, vicious.
Baltimore at the LA Chargers for Monday night. Baltimore is favored by 3 points on the road. I think Baltimore bounces back.
They have to. They absolutely have to. And Harbaugh has had a winning record against his brother Harbaugh.
The Harbaugh Bowl, that's right.
It's the Harbaugh Bowl. I even heard that there's a little thing on Netflix or something that they've been following these guys because they knew the game was on the season, so it's going to be starting to be released today. When do they play, Monday night?
Monday night.
Yeah, okay, so I think it started yesterday. It's 3 parts or something. But I love those shows because it's so football-oriented. Can I just say one thing about football? I do watch, as everyone knows, I watch too much sports, but you can't watch too much sports. What I'd like to be able to do one of these shows is just filter through the people, and I will tell you, listen to these people, don't listen to those people, because there's some very, very, very smart people that talk about football on TV that blow my mind. Like, that's why I've been learning to watch the O-lines and the D-lines, how they go, because of how they talk about them. Lombardi, I'll listen to him anytime. Belichick, he's freaking gold. Nick Saban talking about college. These guys, it's like going to Harvard. So if you really want to, not just reading and watch, listen what these guys say and then look at the game, and you'll start figuring out why some teams suck and some teams don't.
All right. So that's just about it for our show. We will take this into trivia provided by Steven. Thank you very much.
And Steven, your trivia questions have been outstanding, by the way.
So let's get right into it. Earlier this month, Evgeny Dadonov scored his 4th career penalty shot goal, putting him in a 5-way tie for 5th all-time in the stat category. So most penalty shot goals. Can you rank the top 4 players in the correct order for penalty shot goals scored? So it's the play. He gave the players, and we got to rank them.
Okay.
So it's Pavel Bure, Vincent Lecavalier, Mario Lemieux, and Brad Marchand.
I can't believe Marchand's in there. I think the number 1 is, who was the other? Who'd you say again?
Bure, Lecavalier, Lemieux, Marchand.
I have a funny feeling that it's Lecavallier's 1, Lemieux's 2, Bure's 3. But Marchand's up there. He's going to be up there. I know that little vermin's going to be like 2. I'm
going to say Lemieux 1.
I think he's 2nd, because I've heard somewhere before about this. I'm surprised Matt Sundin's not in there.
He's got a lot of overtime goals. I know that. He was the leader.
Oh, the overtime goals, not the shootout goals, right? Okay.
Or penalty shot goals.
Penalty shot goals.
So I'm going to say Lemieux, Bure, Lemieux, Bure, Marchand, Lecavalier.
I'm saying Lecavallier's higher.
Okay.
All right.
So what's your rank?
I'm thinking it's going to be Bure, Lecavalier, Lemieux. But Marchand's up there. That's why he's in there. That's why I don't want to leave him out. So I'll take my hands off. I'm going to be a little bitch and say nothing.
All right. So number 1, Pavel Bure with 7.
Okay.
Number 2, Brad Marchand with 6.
I knew it.
Lemieux's also got 6. And then Lecavalier is 4th with 5.
I thought he was up there. One time he was a leader, I think, or something. But no, Lemieux would have been around. Interesting stat. Interesting trivia. Steven, keep coming. Keep bringing that shit. It's been great.
All right,
appreciate it.
Cruz, I want to thank you for all the hard work you've been putting. I know you've been working on these videos behind the scenes.
You know what? Take me tonight, because it's just called procrastination. You're going to love them. One of them, you're going to remember Marchand.
Okay.
Remember the vermin. He will be an intricate part of one of the promos. Okay. He's going to be a very intimate part of the program. Anything else you'd like to say?
That's just about it. I got to run off to Humber.
Okay, then you do that. I just want to say this. Every time we have a production meeting, you're just coming away from the table having a family meal. I want to say that I want to shell out to your mom and dad that's one of the values that people just don't keep together. At my house, we're worse. I love to hear when families still get together for dinner every night. It's an amazing thing.
Oh, it's not an option.
What?
It's not an option.
I like that even better.
Yeah.
I like that even better. That's the way it is. Mama says this is the time you be there, right?
Mama and Papa.
I love that. Mr. and Mrs. Milani, I think that's amazing. That's why you have great kids. And Alexandra, thank you for clearing up the color situation once and for all. It's made my day. And go Detroit Lions, one pride. Anything else you got to say?
Go Leafs. Go tomorrow against Utah.
Well, we're going to see.
Go Raptors. Go Patriots.
Yes. That's all we're going to do. And on that note, I want to thank once again everybody.
We didn't talk about your Habs.
We gave them their 2 cents when their time in. Like, we can't.
I guess that's all they're worth. So
Thank you. If you're not, what do they say? It's like on golf. If you're not in the top 5, you don't get TV time.
Unless you're Tiger.
Yeah, unless you're Tigers. Okay. In any event, anything else you'd like to bring to the table?
That's just about it. Go Hawks.
Oh, here we go. Yes, I hope they have a good afternoon, and I hope you enjoy yourself. I know people are going to be very happy to listening to you. And on that note, I love that shirt. Looks amazing. On that note, my name is Cruz.
And I'm Andrew Milani.
And what do?
We keep the vibe alive. You can find The House That Happens on Podbean, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeart Radio, Player FM, Samsung, Podchaser, Boomplay, YouTube, and SoundCloud. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at The House That Happens, and follow us on Twitter at House Happens. You can also shoot us an email at thehousethathappens@gmail.com.